you can still make the most of the sun and invest in solar panels. It's a smart move because you'll actually be getting a great return on your investment. And with the money you've saved, you'll be able to take an even better holiday. Say bon voyage to your power bills forever. Visit nrgsolar.com.au or drop into our showroom on South Road at Richmond.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's FIVEaa.
Partly cloudy today and a top of 26 with the 6 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
FIVEaa Extra is a registered NDIS provider, so let them support you in achieving your goals. FIVEaAextra.com.
Selected single-use plastics are now officially banned in SA. From today, businesses will face fines if they sell or supply plastic straws, cutlery and drink stirrers. Environment Minister David Spears says South Australia is leading the way on outlawing plastic.
We know that these items are right up there with the litter found on our beaches, in our oceans, in our creeks and parks, and so we wanted to move very quickly on these items.
300,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine have arrived in Australia. Nine's Michael Packy says it comes as we enter the second week of the national vaccine rollout.
Australia has ordered more than 50 million doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine. About 4 million doses are being imported. The rest will be produced in Melbourne. Batches of the COVID vaccine are being tested before they're rolled out in a little over a week. Federal Health Minister Greg Hunt says it's an important milestone.
In one shipment, we have more than doubled the total amount of vaccines that have arrived in Australia.
About 30,000 Australians have received the Pfizer injection. These include aged care residents and frontline workers. The government is rolling out the second phase of its public information campaign to reinforce safety messages.
There are calls for the Prime Minister to stand down one of his cabinet ministers and launch an investigation into historical rape allegations. The claims reported to police last year date back more than 30 years, before the person was a Member of Parliament. Meantime, Victorian Liberal Senator Sarah Henderson says she has passed on an email containing a rape allegation against an unnamed Labor MP to federal police. Australian rice growers are hoping to put years of drought behind them in the coming weeks. Nine's Eddie Summerfield explains there's a massive crop in the ground.
After a summer of importing rice to bridge supply gaps, growers in the New South Wales Riverina can't wait to begin the harvest in the coming weeks. A crop of 450,000 tonnes is forecast. It's a whopping 10 times the size of last year's harvest. It's expected to be more than enough for Australian consumption for the year, with our premium product to again satisfy the taste buds of international markets. Sunrise says had water allocations rebounded quicker from the drought, the crop would have been even bigger.
Aussies Nicole Kidman and Kate Blanchett are up for Golden Globes today. Michael Genovese reports from the Beverly Hilton.
Tina Fey and Amy Poehler are hosting the awards in front of an audience of frontline workers, including volunteers from Food Bank. The nominees have been told to stay at home this year and to log in virtually. It's the fourth time Tina Fey and Amy Poehler have hosted the awards. The first time they'll do it from different cities. Fey is in New York, Poehler here in LA. Kate Blanchett has been nominated for her performance in Mrs. America and Nicole Kidman for her role in The Undoing, the pair competing in the category of Best Actress in a limited series or motion picture made for TV.
NASA astronauts have taken a stroll more than 400 kilometres from Earth, embarking on a 6-hour spacewalk. They're installing support frames for solar panels outside the International Space Station. Now to FIVEaa's sport.
Fluorio milk comes from local cows and it's bottled right here. Look for the local Fluorio Milk Company.
And it's a very good morning and welcome back to Tom Wren.
Oh, thank you, Mel. Great to be back. Let's start with a little bit of football here, and Adelaide is set to learn the full extent of Wayne Miller's knee injury today. That's expected to sideline him for the rest of the season. Much better news, though, for the Crows women after they recorded another emphatic win, this time smashing St Kilda by 53 points at Norwood Oval. Meantime, tickets for the AFL pre-season series will be released for sale to club members from tomorrow. Clubs are still unsure of the final allocation of numbers, but with Marvel Stadium and the MCG limited to 50% capacity, demand is expected to be high. Let's go to cricket, and South Australia has fallen agonisingly short of claiming its first win for the Sheffield Shield season against WA in Perth. Chasing 332 to win, the Warriors were in early trouble and the Redbacks pushed hard and had the home side 9 wickets down but couldn't get the final wicket. the match finishing in a draw. To tennis, an Australian Alexei Popyrin has won his first ever career tour level title by claiming the Singapore Open. The 21-year-old beating Alexander Bublik in the final in 3 sets.
All the hard work, all the sacrifices, all the dedication, like I said, that everybody around me made for me to get to this moment. And no, it's a little bit of relief, but like overjoyment, and it's just a whole lot of emotions mixed together for it and making one unbelievable feeling.
Yeah, great result. And in some soccer to finish, Chelsea and Manchester United have played out a 0-0 draw in the English Premier League, while Arsenal upset Leicester 3-1. Tottenham thumped Burnley 4-0, while it's 0-0 about 20 minutes in between Sheffield United and Liverpool. And that's the FIVEaa Sport.
Now the FIVEaa forecast.
Make sure you and your car stay cool with aircon and cooling services. Call 1300 Automasters.
Partly cloudy today, 26. Mostly sunny tomorrow, 25. Wednesday is sunny and 26. Right now it's 15 degrees. More news as it happens on FIVEaa.
Welcome to the Hotel California. Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to FIVEaa Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
7 after 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Monday on FIVEaa Breakfast. We've got a huge show coming up for you on this Monday morning. David Penberthy broke a massive story on Friday. He won't say it, so I'll say it on his behalf. The story with, because he did two. Let's be fair about it. He had two, and we'll be talking about both of them today. One of those concerned a story that I think is absolutely mind-blowing, and we'll get into it in detail after 7 o'clock, when we'll speak to the couple who arrived home one day to find their back fence had been knocked over by their next-door neighbours. Not a neighbourly dispute, this one. It became an international relations dispute of a sort. It was the Chinese consulate who's their next-door neighbour, and they were just doing a little bit of re-fencing. Turned out they took down their fence. Turned out it's not the only complaint there's been. David knocked on doors and there was about 20 people that said, hey, you know what? The way these guys conduct themselves and hanging security cameras out over the fence, it's not really suburban behaviour in Australia. We'll talk about it after 7 o'clock. It was an extraordinary story. The other, of course, being Nicole Flint, the member for Boothby, stepping aside on account of the way she's been treated in a time as an MP in Canberra, but also because, of course, of the deteriorating situation in Canberra over the last 2 weeks, so we'll get in depth on that as well. The last day of single-use plastics in South Australia. Vale to the straw, David Penberthy, and good morning to you. We'll talk to David Spears later.
Goodbye to the straw and good riddance to the straw, I think. Although I've got to say, some of these new cardboard-based straws, you got to drink quick, or you end up with a mouth full of sodden card, don't you?
It becomes soggy and totally useless.
Hard to get the traction too.
Yeah, I'm not. We've run before we've walked when it comes to biodegradable straws, I think.
You know, the other question I've got, though, is how essential are they? It is possible to just drink from a container without a straw.
Very uncouth.
Well, I know that, certain types of hipster bars like to, when you've got your muddling stick there on your organic caipirinha with a bit of chaga pineapple, different. I suppose if you're in the car too and you've gone to a drive-through and you've got a drink, you do need it in a container with a straw.
Yeah, well, it does make it a little bit difficult.
You can't sit there with like a frozen Coke.
No.
Frozen 700 millilitre
Scooping
Coke,
out with your bare hands.
Sloshing around in your car. Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
The worst invention in the world of straws, I think, and it's PTSD for anyone like me who ever had silver fillings, is the metal straw.
Oh yeah.
Just the look of it makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, they're terrible, aren't they?
Anything silver, I still have nightmares about putting anywhere near my mouth.
Well, I still worry I'm going to smash my teeth with them too.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not good. We need to do some work. Does this mean the end of the spork as well?
The spork?
No one's fabricating a metallic spork, are they?
See, I think they used to be called splades in the 70s.
Right.
Splades and I've actually got a set of splades at home. They're terrific for eating things like tuna mornay, anything where you don't need to cut, but you want to, you don't sit there eating like you're a baby being fed off a spoon. But there's a certain 1970s elegance about splades, S-P-L-A-Y-D, it's spelled. Terrific things. But thanks for that flattering intro, mate. The Nicole Flint story, her quitting politics, is the most surprising and least surprising story of the year.
Yep.
Don't you think? And, my God, some of the phone calls I was making yesterday trying to help out on this national coverage about the Adelaide woman who was who claimed, because she's no longer with us, sadly, that she was raped by a current cabinet minister. I mean, even saying that word, that's been the tone of politics for weeks now in Canberra, and you couple that with the campaign that Nicole Flint faced at the 2017 election, where she had words like SLUT painted on her office, $60 an hour, it said, written there on a head. She couldn't physically get into the building sometimes because GetUp led this charge against her. They regarded it as the only winnable seat for Labor in the state. But, campaigning, protesting, all that's part of it. But
she had to go to the police at one point.
Well, because amidst all this, some random nut job decided he was going to stalk her.
Yeah.
She's a young single woman, dealing with all of this. And again, 2 weeks ago, Extinction Rebellion thought that they'd just turn up at her office there on Marion Road and painted over 9 of the windows while a staff were inside. And so that's your day job. Then the other 22 weeks a year, you get to fly to Canberra, a place that for a lot of people was like a lonely experience. It's awash with alcohol. You got a lot of young male staffers there who think they're big swinging you-know-whats. Why would a woman want to do that for a living?
And well, this
at the moment, and the way it's currently cast.
And the great shame of the Nicole Flint situation is that this is the type of person that does walk away from politics. Someone with other options. She's been a lawyer. She's been a journalist. She's contributed to academic papers. She doesn't need to be there dealing with all that crap.
No.
And they're the type of people you lose. Whereas the people that are addicted to the power of the whole thing and love the cut and thrust and the game of politics, they don't go anywhere.
No.
You lose. So set aside we think of Nicole Flint's politics. She's a conservative. You might not like it. That's fine. But she was somebody who went into politics with a view about what Australia should look like. She wrote countless columns that said, I'm an advocate for this. I believe in that. She went into politics because she had a view about the country. That's the kind of people we should have in Canberra, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're the kind of ones that walk away when the environment is so toxic because they don't need to be there. They can do other things.
Yeah.
Well, you don't get abused or stalked or made a mockery of on a daily basis.
And it proves the point too. Like her reason for leaving, if you type the words Nicole Flint into Twitter, over the weekend people were going, well, this is good. I mean, it's sad that she at the very mildest people were saying things like this. Well, I don't agree that she should have copped that sort of abuse. I'm glad that she's gone.
Yep. Yeah.
So you had that from the sort of softer lefties on Twitter. Then you had outright, I'm glad this blank has peed off, total jubilation. I actually find the first form of words more troubling than the second in a way, because it's people who are quietly satisfied that they've hounded somebody out and not as a result of the election cycle.
Yeah, because it speaks to their desire.
She's been cancelled.
But it speaks to the desire in politics that people that rusted on nut jobs on both sides have to win at any cost and by any means.
Yeah, totally.
Claiming a political scalp is a good result regardless of how it happens.
And as for that big sook, Mike Carlton, the sacked Fairfax columnist who was writing yesterday, I've been defamed, I want an apology because people were discussing the fact, and the tweet is still up, as of Friday, liked 1,098 times. When Nicole Flint was on Q&A, he wrote a tweet while she was on the program sitting next to Jimmy Barnes, wondering out loud how Jimmy Barnes had managed to sit next to her without succumbing to the temptation to jump up and, quote, strangle that Liberal shill. And we spent weeks rightly denouncing Alan Jones, a right-wing bully, for attacking a left-wing Prime Minister in Julia Gillard. But what, because Flint's conservative, a left-wing bully like Carlton's allowed to get away with doing that to a right-wing woman? It's just...
No, the hypocrisy.
It doesn't matter anymore. Just who do you barrack for? Whose side are you on?
That's right. Your side's always right. The other side's always wrong. Nicole Flint co-authored a report on gender diversity in Parliament. A woman in politics.
Yeah.
But because of where she stands in other political issues, That's not enough for some people.
It's crazy. I reckon, though, all this, I think it does underscore the fact that, and the Libs need to change their position federally. I don't know if it's a rule or what it is. Right now, though, what it has to be is a cull.
Mm.
You got to get more Sheilas in there because it's a bloke fest. It is still a bloke fest, and if you've got a room full of 15 guys and 5 women, or 17 guys and 3 women, the more blokes you've got, the more dysfunctional it's going to be. I think.
Yep.
I reckon it's a simple numbers game. In a lot, that might sound a bit one-dimensional, but that is a huge part of it. And all the other stuff that's going on at the moment, I think that that goes to the type of culture that's reinforced by having just blokes running the show.
16 after 6. Let us know what you think, folks. 8223 is the number. You can text us on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line, or watch along via the 5AA Facebook live feed, or on YouTube. Even, in fact, on Twitter. If you're on Twitter and you see us, you can follow the link and watch along and comment and have you say at any point over the course of the morning. 17 after 6, news headlines in a moment.
Keeping your business connected as you grow from here to here. It starts with a business mobile plan that helps you work on the go. Search Optus Business today. Great business starts with yes.
If you want to build a new home, something that reflects you and your lifestyle, speak with Beechwood Homes. And just so you know, they won't try and sell you a house plan. In fact, there's no house plans until you tell them what you want. So go for it. Start thinking of all the possibilities, or get in touch with Beechwood Homes for a few thought starters. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home. For inspiration, visit the stunning Beechwood Homes display home in Blackwood Park.
Living with osteoarthritis means living with pain, but SportsMed is changing that thanks to the revolutionary GLAD program. Here's SportsMed's Dr. Greg Keane with more.
GLAD is a 6-week exercise program performed in groups, and it continues to produce remarkable results for patients, even a year after completing the course. If you are struggling with the pain of osteoarthritis, visit SportsMed. Let's beat this.
SportsMed.
Start living life again, even with arthritis.
Sportsmed.com.au.
For over 36 years, Steinborner certified cars has always exceeded expectations on value, service and selection, and that continues. That's why it's always well worth a trip to Steinborner certified cars in Gawler, Nuriutpa and Clare for great deals on new and demo Hyundai, Ford and Mitsubishis, plus SA's biggest and best range of used cars. Make the trip to one of Steinborner's 8 dealerships, or view the whole range of cars now at steinborner.com.au and join the thousands who know. Steinborner certified cars. It's well worth the trip.
Ray White Business Sales SA and Business SA. Both are experts at what they do, so they've formed an alliance to help you. Whether you're buying or selling a business or somewhere in between, they'll work together, making sure the business you're going to sell or buy is in top shape. Ray White Business Sales SA and Business SA. Experts in business support and sales. Ready to help you achieve your goals. Call them today. 8300 0000.
9 News, weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. The switch is on to the news that's live and local. 9 News, made in Adelaide.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
19 minutes after 6, news headlines on this Monday morning. South Australia's ban on single-use plastic starts today. The first stage of the legislation bans items like straws, cutlery and beverage stirrers. Not a big beverage stirrer guy. That's one I certainly won't miss. Items such as polystyrene cups, bowls and plates will be banned in early 2022, so their time is coming as well. A fresh rape allegation has been levelled at a federal Labor MP. An email containing the accusation has been sent to Liberal Senator Sarah Henderson. Ms Henderson says she's forwarded the email to the Australian Federal Police. It's hard to believe this will be the last one we hear about too.
It's really hard talking about this on live radio, isn't it? Because there's all sorts of background bits you know about the alleged identities of the people and so on. But in the current context, obviously no one can be identified. You know, the whole thing's starting to feel like some sort of unseemly get square back and forth between the two parties.
Oh,
Don't you reckon?
Yeah, and what does that say? So let's tease that out for a second, because I think everyone listening's making that connection. Oh, so now there's a Labor one. There's been Liberal ones. Okay. Well, that mean...
What's the score? Is it 1-1? Is it 2-1?
Well,
I mean, it's almost up to that sort of level, isn't it?
Let's set aside the politics for a moment and let's be normal human beings that are observing this situation. So does that mean they've all been sitting on this kind of stuff? Just ready if there was a nuclear exchange whereby, all right, you're going to do that?
Yeah.
Well, we've got your dirty laundry. And what does that say? The whole thing has been a protection racket.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, if these things are treated as things you keep in the top drawer, in case of political emergency, break glass.
Yes.
They're either just things that have to go to the police, or, as we're seeing now, like, what are they? Are they political manoeuvres?
It is ugly.
So it needs an independent, separate person who's got nothing to do with politics to step in like a proper sort of HR type response. So look, we can't keep doing this every day. We can't like have the late drop where some backbencher comes down and says, "Oh, I've got a letter now too." So I'll put out a statement about that. Like it's just screwed up.
It is following the Weinstein-style development of this story, though, isn't it? Where there's clearly a lot of people who don't want to be the first. Because the first person has a name. Everyone knows Brittany Higgins in this case.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are happy to be the 3rd, 4th, 7th, 8th, 10th. Which is exactly what happened with the Weinstein case. So maybe some of these are coming to light organically, but you're right. It does have the smear of politics on it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think so.
Former Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull says he received a letter from a woman alleging she was raped by a cabinet minister more than 30 years ago. The woman reported the matter to police in February last year, but has since taken her life. This is the source of so much of the discussion over the weekend. Here is the former Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull speaking in Adelaide yesterday for Writers' Week.
So I don't know whether there'll be an inquest or not. I think, frankly, there should be. The fact that she said that she had kept diaries relating to all this, I don't know whether they were contemporaneous diaries or, sometime later in time.
Mysterious coronavirus case, which has plunged Auckland into a week-long lockdown, is being linked to the highly contagious UK strain. The new case does not have a clear link to a small cluster of cases south of the city. The rest of New Zealand subject to level 2 restrictions, so a bit of a scare for our friends across the ditch at the moment. The rollout of the AstraZeneca coronavirus vaccine in Australia is expected to begin as early as next week. Batches of the jab are being checked after arriving in the country yesterday. Meanwhile, the UK has reached a milestone in its vaccine rollout. More than 20 million people now given their first dose of the jab, and there are reports out of the UK today that based on the evidence of those first 20 million, they are finding that there is a 90% efficacy in the distribution of the vaccine. Because there is two style of results when you talk about how vaccines work, what you can make in a lab, and what happens in the real world. There's so many more variables in the real world with the people that get it and how they behave and whatnot. In the real world, they're finding it works fantastically well. So that's great news.
20 million Britons have had it.
Yep.
I mean, if we had that here, we'd be done.
We'd be done.
Apart from little kids. But they don't need it, do they?
Well,
no one's vaccinating their 5-year-old.
How easily can it spread if 20 million Australians had been vaccinated?
Yeah.
I suspect it'd be limited in its capacity to do so. Former US President Donald Trump is preparing to speak at a conservative political conference in Florida, which will address the future of the Republican Party.
This conference looks like the bar scene from Star Wars, doesn't it?
Did you see?
I would love to be there.
Did you see Ted Cruz screaming, doing the William Wallace freedom speech over
there? Yeah. He's back from Cancun as well, obviously.
He's back.
The man who set out one of the greatest humanitarian crises to face Texas in recent memory by going to the Mexican Riviera.
And Bruce McAvaney has called his last AFL game, announcing his retirement from Channel 7's football coverage. He'll still lead the network's horse racing coverage. He'll be involved in the Tokyo Olympics that still seem to be set to go ahead a little bit later this year. But he's stepping aside from footy, from the weekly call and the grind. The soft landing is how he described it. Dennis Committee said, best to go out with a soft landing.
Yeah. He looks ages to me, Bruce. He's 68 years old almost. But yeah, geez, he's been the sound of football.
Yeah, and he's responsible for so many Australians. The reason there's such affection for him, he's been responsible for the sound of the greatest moments of some people's lives in this country, the sports fans.
Kathy Freeman.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great moments like that, but when your football team wins the grand final, invariably it was probably Bruce who was calling it.
Yeah.
So
I remember in '97, or way back then, in the last quarter after Smarty kicked that goal, and he said, "Oh, it's all about celebrating now."
Yeah. They're good moments in your life.
Colour TV had just been invented when the Crows won that flag.
Actually, colour TV. Did you know this?
No.
Started today, 1975. We'll talk about it
Really?
after 6:30. March 1st was known as Sea Day. We'll talk about that a little bit later. We'll talk sport with Tom Wren in just a moment. But first, let's take a look at the weather on this Monday morning. Reasonable looking week. I had a sneak peek earlier. 26 today, the top. 25 tomorrow, 26 Wednesday, 26 Thursday, 27 on Friday, before warming up for next weekend, 29 and 30, and not really much chance of rain out over the course of the week, so you're going to have to get watering.
Here at FIVEaa, we're all about supporting local. Womadelaide gets underway this Friday with Midnight Oil, Sarah Blasco, Archie Roach, Tash Sultana and more. 4 sunset concerts in King Rodney Park. Tickets at womadelaide.com.au.
G'day, it's Eddie May here from NRG Solar. If you've postponed your overseas trip, whether you plan to sun yourself on the deck of a cruise ship or hang out on a tropical island, you can still make the most of the sun and invest in solar panels. It's a smart move because you'll actually be getting a great return on your investment. And with the money you've saved, you'll be able to take an even better holiday. Say bon voyage to your power bills forever. Visit nrgsolar.com.au or drop into our showroom on South Road at Richmond.
You don't always have to be in a physical hospital to receive the care you need. My Home Hospital brings hospital-level care straight to you in the comfort and privacy of your own home. My Home Hospital is a wellbeing SA service and is available at no charge to eligible public patients 24 hours a day, 7 days a week across metropolitan Adelaide. Find out if you're eligible, talk to your doctor or visit myhomehospital.sa.gov.au. My Home Hospital. We bring the care to you. This message brought to you by the Government of South Australia.
Mate, welcome to KO. Sport lives here. You're going to love it. But a heads up, we have been having a bit of a debate about the backyard. You see, Dustin Martin reckons it should be an oval, but Alex Glenn thinks it should be a rectangle. I think we're just going to split the difference and have an oval with corners. A rectoval. What do you reckon? KO. Sport lives here. Stream over 50 sports live and on demand. New to KO, start your 14-day free trial.
Jane pops in for a cuppa with Lorraine, an ACH Group customer living independently and safely at home thanks to Smart Tech.
Do you feel like you've got this protective network around you with the technology that you're using, the smart technology, that makes you live a more independent life?
Absolutely, and as I age more, just to know that going forward, these things will become even more important in my life.
To find out more about ACH Group's Smart Tech service, visit achgroup.org.au.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
The handball out wide, gets to Connell. Connell inside 50, belts it towards full forward. Jarman there, with him was Zilla. Jarman again, round the body. That'll do. Oh, that will do. Oh, unbelievable, Darren.
Oh, the great Bruce McAvaney, who was not calling another game of AFL footy. It was announced overnight. We're joined in the studio by the man described as the next Bruce. It's Tom Wren, who joins us thanks to FIVEaa milk. Comes from local cows. It's bottled right here. Look for the local FIVEaa Milk Company. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. I thought you'd like that little bit. That was the 97 grand final when the ball somehow fell to Darren Jarman, the right foot snap over his left shoulder, and you just heard it. He had so many moments like that, didn't he, as a caller?
The Malcheski goal in the Sydney Hawthorn game at the end. It's going.
Brilliant.
Remember that?
Yeah, he's been the master for so long. I think for me growing up, it was Wayne Carey, Friday Night Football for North Melbourne.
Yeah.
You know, he used to love calling the king. He was just brilliant. But the good news is he's still going to be doing racing, and I think he really shines in athletics. I think his football calling's been exceptional, but his 2000 call of Gabriel Salesi when he won the 10,000 for me is one of the standouts. But what a career, what a football.
Would he do the Olympics?
Dynasty. Yeah, he'll be there.
He's doing it.
Yep.
So he's doing it.
He's going to keep doing the Olympics. And
if they happen.
This is it. This is exactly it. But no, well played, Bruce McAvaney. What a wonderful caller. Do you
what
have
a wonderful
favourite?
bloke too.
Yeah,
fantastic.
The loveliest guy. Yeah.
Yep.
We've had him on the show a few times. You would have met him a few times, Tom.
Yeah,
plenty of times.
Just a beautiful person.
Yeah,
family man, and just so giving and generous and humble.
He seems to be one of those people who doesn't like the controversies of sport. He just wants to enjoy the game.
Yeah, just loves the pureness of it, doesn't he?
Doesn't want to get into the argy-bargy, never wants to take pot shots at people.
And I think as well, he never wants to shift the spotlight onto him. He wants to make it about the game and the sport.
Yeah.
And he that. Enhance that.
Increasingly rare.
Exactly.
It is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally.
Yeah, it certainly is.
So well played. And
welcome back, mate.
Yeah, thanks.
Good to see you
Good to be back.
Dan's clutches there in Victoria.
Only just, but I tell you what, I flicked over yesterday and I struggled to make out the Crows and St Kilda players.
Oh my God, I was there at the parade. I tweeted a photo because we were sitting in the pocket, and at one point the ball was in the opposite pocket, and everyone's charging across. So you only saw the backs of jumpers. Indistinguishable. Yeah. It's the worst clash I've seen in the history of football. I don't know who possibly approved it.
It was, and look, it was great that they had Indigenous round going.
Yeah.
That was fantastic, but goodness me,
my word,
that was terrible.
White and white, and obviously the St Kilda had black numbers and the Crows probably had navy. But when you're at the ground and probably on TV as well, I'm imagining you couldn't tell the difference.
You couldn't. Yeah.
No. The only way you could tell the difference is it was for Crows women players who had the ball.
Yeah.
Because it was rough sledding for St Kilda,
didn't they?
It certainly was. Hey, good on you, Reddy.
Good on you, Will. Thanks, Ben.
Tom
Cheers,
Red,
guys.
thanks to FIVEaa Milk, comes from local cows. It's bottled right here. Look for the local FIVEaa Milk Company.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy today and a top of 26 with the 6:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations, physioextra.com.
In an Australian first, a ban on selected single-use plastics has started today in SA. The sale, supply and distribution of straws, beverage stirrers and cutlery has been outlawed. KeySab's Wendy Bevan says Stage 2 will be rolled out next year.
The next stage is in 12 months, and what the Minister has legislated is that the next lot of items will be the polystyrene type bowls and cups, so that's already written into the law.
Victorian Liberal Senator Sarah Henderson says she's referred a rape allegation against an unnamed Labor MP to federal police. In a statement, Senator Henderson says she received an email containing the allegation and passed it on to the AFP. And the Greens are demanding a cabinet minister accused of rape stand aside. Police have been handed information relating to an alleged sexual assault more than 30 years ago. Australia has doubled its coronavirus vaccine stocks after the arrival of the first doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine. They touched down in the country yesterday and will now be checked before distribution gets underway. Meantime, we're heading into week 2 of the national COVID vaccine rollout. A third of the UK's adult population has now been given the first dose of a COVID-19 vaccine. Nine's Europe correspondent Ben Avery has more.
More than 20 million people across the UK have now been given their first jab in the nearly 12 weeks since the vaccine rollout began. The British Health Secretary Matt Hancock describing the achievement as magnificent for the country. Authorities now believe all of the UK's 53 million adults will be offered a dose by July, with those aged between 60 to 63 the next in line. COVID-19 case numbers are continuing to fall across the country, with restrictions to start being eased throughout the British spring, which begins tomorrow.
Leading economists predict a drop in the real value of pay packets. Wage growth is not expected to keep up with the rate of inflation over the next 2 years. The economy is expected to grow by 6.4% this year as it recovers from the COVID downturn. Uber Eats will offer its Australian workforce access to new safety technology following a spate of deaths across the industry last year. Nine's Maham Kashani reports.
Companies have been under pressure to improve safety measures after 5 food delivery riders died last year. The Herald reports Uber Eats will roll out a safety feature in its app to detect whether riders are wearing helmets and require them to complete a checklist of their bike's roadworthiness. Lights, reflector vests, bells and phone holders will be distributed later this month. The Transport Workers Union is welcoming the changes but says they don't go far enough.
Prince Philip is nearing a fortnight in hospital. He's heading into night 13 at the London Medical Facility. It's the Duke's longest ever hospital stay as he's treated for an infection. Now turning to 5AA's sport.
Fluorio milk comes from local cows and it's bottled right here. Look for the local Fluorio Milk Company.
And it's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Adelaide defender Wayne Miller has had surgery to repair a patella tendon injury and is set to miss the rest of the season. It's a big blow for the 23-year-old after he played only 2 games last year. But things are looking good for the Crows women after they smashed St Kilda by 53 points in a result which lifts them up to 4th on the ladder. Let's go to cricket now, and South Australia remains on the bottom of the Sheffield Shield table after falling just short in its quest to claim a first win of the season against WA in Perth. Needing 332 to win, the Warriors limped to 9 for 148, but the Redbacks couldn't bowl the home side out, meaning the match finished in a draw. To motorsport, Shane Van Gisbergen has scored back-to-back wins in the opening round of the V8 Supercars at Bathurst Mount Panorama. Starting on pole, Van Gisbergen slipped back in the early stages of the race before jumping leader Cam Waters, who was exiting pit lane. Van Gisbergen said the race day tactics delivered the win.
Well, it wasn't a great start. It was a shocker. He got me, but that's a team win, strategy win. The car was awesome. Unfortunately, can't battle on track, so we had to try and win it in the pit lane, and we did.
To soccer, and it's half-time in the EPL match between Sheffield United and Liverpool. Scores locked at 0-0. Earlier, Tottenham smashed Burnley 4-0. Arsenal upset Leicester 3-1, while Chelsea and Manchester United played out a 0-0 draw. And 2 games in the NBL yesterday with South East Melbourne 17-point winners over Illawarra, while Brisbane smashed Cairns by 20 points. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Make sure you and your car stay cool with aircon and cooling services. Call 1300 Automasters.
Partly cloudy for your Monday, a top of 26. Mostly sunny tomorrow, 25. Wednesday, sunny and 26. Right now, it's 15 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Keep on running.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
23 minutes to 7. It is the 1st of March. Significant date in Australian history. The 1st of March was C Day, the start of colour TV. 1st of March 1975.
It's leaking through the window! Dude, a filthy thing all over my new carpet! Look, it's filling the room! How are we going to breathe? Quick out from the Wollongong air! I'll try and hold it down. There it is. Hey, look at me! I'm in colour! Come on in, it's lovely! I can't hold it on very long.
Good morning, James Dibble in Sydney. Welcome to the ABC News in colour. The Army Task Force, which has been cleaning up the damage caused by Cyclone Tracy in Darwin, will be relieved next week. The task force has been conducting clean-up operations 7 days a week since taking over from the Navy on January the 20th. The relief force will still find plenty of work in Darwin's devastated suburbs.
Hello, I'm Johnny Farnham, and this is Countdown. The first edition for 1975 in glorious colour. Throughout the year, we're going to bring you the most exciting people in Australia. Let's kick it off right now with one of Australia's fastest rising groups, Skyhawks.
That's 46 years ago. Colour TV started in Australia.
Wow.
1975 on this day. There's an article that The Age have republished. I think this is fantastic. And it's speaking of the change that's going to come to Australia by way of colour television. It was published on the 27th of February 1975. And we'd love to hear your earliest memories of colour television in Australia. What's the first colour TV memory you've got? 8223 0000 is the number.
It was the most massive thing, and I can remember as a kid at primary school in the 70s, it was actually a status symbol. Like it was a sort of sign that you were doing all right if your family had a colour TV straight away.
We'll get to that because I got a conversion for you. That'll, it's quite extraordinary.
We didn't have one for years afterwards.
Here's The Age on February 27, 1975, under the title "Colouring in the Days of Our Lives." Is the article. Things are changing. For one thing, you'll never see 7 brides for 7 brothers in black and white again, nor any of those never-ending Hollywood ghastlies that have been plaguing our television screens for years now. From now on, you'll sit through them in their original colour, and that could be interesting too, unless, of course, they were made in black and white. Like automatic dishwashers, gas barbecues, rotary clotheslines and tea bags, colour television has arrived, and our lives will be consequently immeasurably improved. Of course. This is all written with a sort of tongue-in-cheek. Colour television starts in Australia officially on Saturday, C-Day, and not a moment too soon. Already we're behind Britain, the USA, Sweden, France, West Germany, Italy, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and even Malta. All these countries and others have had it for some time. Even New Zealand beat us, says the article. Most people who have seen colour like it. It is perhaps at its best with its deep greens and vivid blues of outdoor sports events, perhaps at its worst with the questionable colour techniques these days of old movies. Overall, a few would dispute that it's better all round. Even so, and this goes to your point, David, and so the article continues, the price is daunting. At present, the cheapest 14-inch sets, 14-inch, cost about $550, and the best 26-inch more than $1,000. So $1,000 in 1975 is just over $7,000 in today's money.
Wow.
Now, you know, what type of TV do you get for $7,000 in today's money?
You'd get like a...
Pretty much any TV you want.
Yeah.
You can get
50, 60, 70 inch.
90 inches. You'd get a ridiculous.
Actually, we've got one of the original plasmas at our place, and a mate of mine the other day said, mate, when are you going to get a proper size television? Because I think ours is... most plasmas were 40 inches, weren't they? That was the standard size.
Yeah. Originally. How old's yours?
Oh, about 10 years old.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you'll be really excited when you get an upgrade. I think you can treat yourself. When in the early days, only 1 in 15 for the first year or so would be colour TVs. 1 in 20, the suggestion is. That said, straight off the bat, they sold between 120 and 150,000 sets. So there was a clamouring for it. What do you remember about C-Day, Jane?
Good morning, boys. How are you?
Yeah, good.
Well, the first thing I remember about seeing colour TVs was Mum took us into King William Street and we looked at through the window at Ern Smith.
Ern Smith's.
Do you remember what was on?
I can't remember what was on. I think we were just all too amazed. But I do remember another friend of ours a couple of years later said that he had a colour TV and come around and see it, and he'd painted his old TV multicolours.
Thank you, Jane.
That's great, Jane.
Rob in Broadview, good morning.
Hey, g'day guys, how you doing?
Good, mate.
Thanks, Rob.
Look, I remember, I think it was about 76, we got ours, and for the first 6 weeks, all I saw was my father's behind, because he was just bent over the thing, he was adjusting the V-hold, he was adjusting the colour, he was just parked in front of it, adjusting everything for the first 6 weeks. We never got to see a show. He was just
That's
standing
right.
there in front of it.
Reminded me, Rob, there used to be, was it called vertical hold? There was some sort of button on there, and sometimes the colour wouldn't quite line up, and you had to twist it left,
or
right.
the picture would start spinning and things like that.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
Yeah, and I grew up in Tassie. There was 2 channels. There wasn't much to adjust. There wasn't much to watch.
My God. So what was it, ABC and what else?
ABC, and it was like a hybrid of Channel 9, Channel 7. I remember Mr. Graham Goodings. He was the newsreader down there at the time.
Oh, wow.
So,
So do you live in Launceston, Rob?
No, up on the northwest coast, up in Burnie.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
'Cause
nice.
I remember him and Mum met in Launceston, so yeah, we spent a lot of time there in Tassie.
Yeah, no, I do remember him on the news. Though,
Good stuff. Good on you, Rob.
Excellent. No worries, guys. Take care.
Appreciate the call. Jenny in Summerton Park, good morning.
Good morning. Now, speaking of Ern Smith, I was going through my mother's paperwork the other day because she's gone in a nursing home, and I found a receipt back in 1976 for an Ern Smith TV. It was $3,048. So I did a conversion. It was $14,000 in today's money.
That's so much, isn't
They
it?
were unbelievably pricey.
Yeah, that's extraordinary.
Wasn't it just?
Like if you paid $3,500 for a TV today at the Good Guys, you would get a really good television for that.
Well,
really good television.
You would almost get any TV you want.
Yeah, you'd get one that's like got the internet on it and everything.
Oh, you get that for a lot cheaper. They all come with the internet these days.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to spend that much, David.
I've got a real fear on this internet.
I've got a real fear that you're going to wander into a TV department one day and some bloke's eyes are going to fall out of his head thinking, I can sell this dude anything. Thank you, Jenny.
Ours at home doesn't have, one of ours, we've got 2 TVs, one of them doesn't have the internet on.
Oh, you know me, I love technology, but I think internet and TVs is... Beyond getting you to streaming services, so you don't have to have any other way of getting to all your Netflix and stands and whatnot. But yeah, actually doing anything else with smart TVs, I think they're not yet smart. We haven't quite got there. Do you know what the biggest concern about colour TVs was in 1975? You go back and read concerns and complaints from people in Australia, and this tells you everything about the way in which we as consumers have changed how we behave. The biggest concern was twofold: how much will it cost to service the TV, and B, will the TV repairmen be upskilled enough to fix colour televisions?
Yeah, right.
Because back in that time, you bought a TV and you kept it for a long, long time.
Yeah. Who gets their TVs repaired these days?
No one. You buy a new one.
Yeah, we'll take it. If it's within warranty, you take there's something wrong with this.
That's right. And if it's not, it ends up in hard rubbish. You drive around hard rubbish and there are TVs in the street everywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
15 to 7, 8223 0000 is the number. You can text us on the Telstra Store Mount Barker text line too. But first, let's check traffic. Thanks to Dave Potter Honda, Australia's #1 Honda dealer for a second year running. DavePotterHonda.com.au.
Got a smashed Plimpton Park on Marion Road, Raglan Avenue. The Port River Expressway, Birkenhead, has a breakdown. McIntyre Road, Milne Road, a burst water main in Modbury Heights. Is your vehicle handling the way it should? A Petters brake, steering and suspension check for just $28 is the easiest way to make sure. Visit petters.com.au today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Adelaide 2021 is here. Catch artists like Midnight Oil, Sarah Blasco, Tash Sultana, Archie Roach and more. All on one stage over 4 nights in Adelaide's beautiful tree-lined King Rodney Park from Friday, March 5 to Monday, March 8. Book for one night or all 4 concerts, each with limited capacity reserved seating. Tickets are strictly limited, so make sure you don't miss out on Adelaide this weekend. Book your ticket now at womadelaide.com.au.
I'm Kate Cotty, the first woman to sail solo, non-stop and unassisted around the world. And if you're like me, and where you call home changes over time, FIVEaa offers a range of home insurance options to choose from, including house, apartment and village living.
Call FIVEaa on 13 50 50 for a quote today. FIVEaa. Get set, go. FIVEaa is an authorised representative of AAI Limited, the product issuer. Limits, exclusions and conditions apply. Before buying this insurance, read the PDS. Contact us for a copy.
Pardon? Sorry?
Huh?
What? Pardon? Sorry? Huh? What?
It's time to stop ignoring the whats, especially with hearing loss linked to other health issues. At Audica, we offer a no-obligation free trial of our hearing devices because we want you to feel comfortable wearing them. We specialise in personal hearing health that's tailored to you. Visit audica.com.au to book your free hearing health check. Be hearing healthy with Audica. Available to adults aged 26 or over.
I'm Kathy Nagel, the Chief Executive of Western Hospital at Henley Beach. We are proud to announce the opening of our new cardiovascular theatre, which will occur in March. This theatre will ensure that residents of Adelaide will have greater choice for their cardiovascular procedures. Western Heartcare and our vascular surgeons will ensure your care and safety is their priority. Western Hospital, your hospital that cares. For more information, call 8159 1200 or visit westernhospital.com.au.
The Barossa Valley is a great place to visit. You have history, wine, great food, nature, wine. What if you had one extra draw card? Your parents. Retirement units are available in safe and connected neighbourhoods just an hour from the city. We're talking about newly renovated 1, 2 and 3 bedroom homes from around 180k to 300k. They get the vine change and you get another reason to visit the Barossa. Win-win. Talk to your parents today about Barossa Village. Find out more at barossavillage.org.
9 News, weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. The switch is on to the news that's live and local. 9 News, made in Adelaide.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
12 minutes to 7. Let's check in with Safe Bowl. Senior Constable Kylie Simpson's on the line. Morning to you, Kylie.
Good morning.
Now, there's been yet another, I don't know how many mornings we're starting like this, but this is, feels like we've had a shocking 2 weeks. Another fatal car crash, this time in Avenue Range in the southeast.
It sure does. It seems like every time we come to work, it's another fatal, which is, really disappointing. So this one was about midnight. Police were called to Avenue Range in the state southeast. So it's about 30k southeast of Kingston. We were called after reports of a single car rollover. The driver and the sole occupant of the Holden sedan, a 58-year-old man from Kingston, sadly died at the scene. So major crash officers have flown to the scene to examine the circumstances, and it is the 17th life lost on SA roads compared to 16 at the same time last year. And like you say, it's every day that we're reporting on these crashes, and you've just got one job to do: get in your car and drive to the conditions and drive safely. So many people are affected by fatal crashes, whether it's family, friends, communities. So yeah, it's really sad.
It's felt like we've had almost one a day for the last week. It's just been a terrible run, Kylie, so hopefully we can reverse that. This crash at Clemzig, what's the go with that? Yet again, we've got a driver who's fled the scene.
Yeah, this one's terrible. So about 3:45 this morning, police were called to North East Road at Clemzig after reports of a single-car crash. So on arrival, patrol located a female passenger in the car with serious injuries. She's been taken to the Royal Adelaide Hospital, and that's where she remains in a serious condition. So, yeah, the driver of the car fled the scene. PD Zach and his handler, along with patrol, searched the area but couldn't locate the driver. So the driver's described as a Caucasian man, aged between 30 and 40 years, got tattoos on one of his arms and was seen wearing dark T-shirts. So he was last seen on OG Road. So anyone with any information is asked to contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. So not a good, person just leaving the passenger in the car and running off. That's
I'll say.
Yeah.
Crikey.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Unbelievable.
Thanks, Kylie. Senior Constable Kylie Simpson from SAPOL. Let's head to the Bureau. Tom Bowick is on duty at the Weather Bureau. Morning to you, Tom.
G'day, Dave and Will. How you going?
Yeah, well. Hey, how hot did it get yesterday in the end?
Yesterday we got to 25.7 degrees at just before 1 o'clock.
That's amazing. At the parade in the sun, it felt significantly warmer than that. But yeah, I remember the forecast didn't look like it was going to get that high. What's the rest of the week look like?
Yeah, okay, look, pretty similar conditions coming up for this week. Ending up with this high pressure system to the south of the Bight there, which is going to be really slow moving right through the week. In fact, not moving at all hardly, so it doesn't really start moving till next weekend. So pretty static conditions right through the weekend. It looks like being a continuation of dry weather, so no rain inside at this stage. So we've had an overnight minimum of 13.4, so a cool sort of a night. And 26 for today for a maximum. A bit cooler along the coast there with 24 at Glenelg, 27 for Elizabeth, 22 for Mount Barker, 24 for Noarlunga. And then, 25 Tuesday, 26 for Wednesday, Thursday, 27 for Friday. It is warming up a little next weekend as that high moves east, 29 for Saturday, 30 degrees for Sunday, but remaining dry there, guys.
Good stuff.
Good on you, Tom.
Good for the long weekend.
Yeah, sounds like it. Of course, long weekend.
Yeah. What about that?
Oh, you just said the magic words.
This time next week, we won't be here, Will.
And
and most of our listeners won't be about to head off to wherever it is they're working.
You just said long weekend. We had our first long weekend reference 52 minutes into the program on Monday morning, which for us may in fact be a new record.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Too slow, you mean?
Yeah, that's right. We waited this long. Usually it would have started on Friday.
That's right.
Our resident historian, Ben Jordan, says the average weekly wage was $150 in 1975, with tax at 25%. A new colour TV was a month's wage.
That's
so
crazy,
it was a
isn't it?
significant investment.
Unbelievable.
7 to 7. We're off to the US in just a moment.
At Specsavers, go glare-free this summer. Get free polarised lenses in your second pair. That's a saving of $100 when you choose 2 pairs from the $149 range or above. Ends March 3. Only at Specsavers. Conditions apply.
Ray White Business Sales SA and Business SA. Both are experts at what they do, so they've formed an alliance to help you. Whether you're buying or selling a business or somewhere in between, they'll work together, making sure the business you're going to sell or buy is in top shape. Ray White Business Sales SA and Business SA. Experts in business support and sales. Ready to help you achieve your goals. Call them today. 8300 0000.
Now, of course, a lot of people have put their overseas travel plans on hold, whether it was sunning yourself on the deck of a cruise ship or escaping to a tropical island. Unfortunately, they've sort of had to put it all off onto the Never Never.
That's right. So what are you going to do with all of that holiday money? What are you going to do while your travel luggage is collecting dust? Well, how about this? Some new NRG solar panels could be on your roof collecting rays and significantly reducing your power bills.
So if you can't soak up the sun, get in touch with NRG and at least get some benefits of summer.
That's right, because you'll be astounded at how much money you'll save. And remember, the longer you wait, the more you stand to lose in lost rebates and savings.
At least the money you've saved for a holiday will be going to work for you, saving your money, perhaps even enough for an even better holiday than the one you'd originally planned. So say bon voyage to your power bills forever. Visit nrgsolar.com.au.
Is that one there? No. Oh, found one. Maybe not. Small car hiding behind the big ones. Oh, are they leaving? No, they're getting their bags out the back. I'll just do one more lap.
The worst part about shopping is you usually spend more time looking for a park than in the shops. Not at Newton Central. With access to over 500 car parks, you'll never have to do one more lap of the parking lot before you shop. Newton Central, Gorge Road, Newton.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
5 to 7. I think we found our youngest listener. Someone's texted in a picture of their very young child watching along with us, rather frighteningly cast to the big screen TV, much bigger than the old 26-inch of 1975 that we've been talking about. Looks to me like it could be the YouTube live stream. I'm not sure. Maybe it's the Facebook one. Either way.
See, most babies are watching Paw Patrol or something like that. But this little fella's going to end up with a love of, political debate.
Adelaide,
breaking
hopefully.
News. Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Well, look, text us back in about 30 years and let us know how you turned out. Because it'd be an interesting experiment.
That's right, exactly.
It's good to have him watching along. Good to have him on board. We're trying to push for that younger under 5 demo, so that's good.
Right,
It's good to see we're making progress.
Trying to stop them from listening to Nova.
The CPAC, the big conservative conference, is on in the US at the moment. Donald Trump, as we mentioned earlier, is set to take the stage at any moment. I reckon he's going to be hard-pressed this time to upstage Ted Cruz earlier in the week.
And the country will come back to sanity, and mark my words, 2022 is going to be a fantastic election year, and so is 2024. As we stand together and defend liberty, defend the Constitution, defend the Bill of Rights of every American, in the immortal words of William Wallace, freedom!
I mean, the immortal words of Mel Gibson, I think, because I'm not sure William Wallace ever said that. But anyway, a bit of showmanship from the Republican senator. All right, let's head to the US. Actually, Mulaney for 7 News is watching it all unfold. Morning to you, Ashley.
Morning, guys. He was very shouty, wasn't he?
Very
God,
shouty.
a bit early for that.
Yeah, no, it's nasty noise to wake up to. So, actually, what are the expectations around Donald Trump? Do you think he's going to indicate today that he is going to run again or try to run again at the next election?
I think this is all testing the temperature, definitely, amongst Republican supporters, amongst senior Republicans as to where the support is. But it's pretty clear this is still Donald Trump's Republican Party. I was just listening to Jim Jordan, the congressman, who said that Trump is the leader of the conservative movement, he's the leader of the America First movement, and he is the leader of the Republican Party. So these top Republicans are willing to back him. Even after everything that's happened, the impeachment trial, he is still wildly popular with his base, and I think we'll see a really fiery speech from Donald Trump today. All reports are that he'll come out and tear shreds off Joe Biden, which in and of itself is unconventional, surprise, surprise, from Donald Trump, for a former president to come out after office and get involved in politics like this, and certainly attacking a successor. I mean, it's quite unprecedented. We just don't see that usually. They walk off into the sunset quietly. So,
yeah, it's normally a dignified transition. Hey, what's the latest with heading up to New York now? The governor there, the Democrat governor, Andrew Cuomo, he's in a bit of strife with sexual misconduct claims.
Yeah, and I mean, he had a hero status during the height of the pandemic in New York. People were tuning into his daily briefings, and he was getting praised for how he was handling the situation. But behind the scenes, it sounds like there was some trouble brewing. And two staffers have now come forward and made these complaints of sexual harassment. One of them sounding quite serious, that he kissed a woman on the lips, that he asked her to play strip poker on his private jet. She's written an essay about that. Another woman has just come forward. So he has now said that there should be an independent investigation looking into this. But it's not just his conduct in that respect. It's also some concerns about a potential cover-up of the numbers in New York, because there was about 8,000 people that died in old persons' homes, and they think the number is closer to 15,000. So,
wow.
And that they were underreported. So, yeah, shocking numbers. I think Cuomo, he jumped the gun writing that book about the success of his leadership before the pandemic was over, and it's House of Cards seems to be tumbling a bit at the moment. So he's asking for people. He's denied the allegations. So
maybe he knew he wasn't going to be able to write it. a little bit later. Thank you, Ashley. Appreciate it. Ashley Mullaney, the 7 News US Bureau Chief. Dean and Craigmore's called in with a memory of C Day when colour TV started in Australia, 1975 on this day. Morning to you, Dean.
How are you, boys?
Good, mate.
Thanks, Dave.
Hey, I used to live down at Penberthy, right? And Mum and Dad bought a TV for Narracrook, and we were one of the first in this little country town to have a colour TV. Well, it was like a bloody cinema. Everybody was around at our place watching the TV. I could have made a fortune. I could have been Mr. Wallace, like selling tickets. I could have been an entrepreneur, boys, like.
P.T. Barnum.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Good on you, Dean.
Good on you, Dean. Thank you for that. It's 7 o'clock. We've got 5AA News on the way. While it's on, I want to pose this little thought starter for you. Imagine... I want you to picture your next door neighbour. Now imagine that they are in fact the Chinese government. That's the reality for people living on 4th Avenue in Jocelyn. But some
and 5th Avenue.
And 5th Avenue.
It's that big it covers both streets.
It is massive. And some of the stories that came out of it, and David's reporting in The Australian over the weekend, just blow your mind. The things these people have been living through. You're going to hear about them in just a moment.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy today and a top of 26 with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
FIVEaa Extra is a registered NDIS provider, so let them support you in achieving your goals. FIVEaAextra.com.
Police are looking for the driver of a car which crashed at Clemzig this morning, then did a runner, leaving the female passenger with serious injuries. It happened on North East Road around 3:45. Senior Constable Kylie Simpson has a description of the wanted man.
Yeah, the driver of the car fled the scene. PD Zach and his handler, along with patrols, searched the area but couldn't locate the driver. So the driver's described as a Caucasian man, aged between 30 and 40 years, got tattoos on one of his arms and was seen wearing dark T-shirts. So he was last seen on OG Road.
There's been another death on our roads. A man has died following a single-car rollover in the state's southeast. Police were called to Avenue Range near Lucendale just before midnight. The driver and sole occupant, a 58-year-old man from Kingston, died at the scene. The road toll for the year now stands at 17. Single-use plastics are now officially banned in SA. The new law's coming into effect today. Businesses will face fines if they sell or supply items, including straws, cutlery and drink stirrers. KSAB's Wendy Bevan says some exemptions will apply.
And there's obviously going to be needs for places like nursing homes, aged care facilities, medical facilities. And so there will be ways that people can do this.
State Opposition Leader Peter Malinauskas has reaffirmed his pledge to bring back the Adelaide 500, claiming local business is suffering in its absence. The event would have been held in Adelaide over the weekend, but it was staged at Bathurst instead after the Marshall government pulled the pin last year. Mr Malinauskas says it's hurt a lot of local retailers.
A lot of businesses really disappointed that they've missed out on the Adelaide 500 this weekend. This would have been their busiest weekend of the year, whether they're accommodation service providers or hire companies or even pubs in around town. Yesterday they were quiet, if not closed, when that could have been an opportunity to employ more people when we've got the highest unemployment rate in the nation.
Australia has doubled its coronavirus vaccine stocks after the arrival of the first doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine. Nine's Christina Hearn has more.
300,000 doses of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine arrived in Sydney yesterday. They're being kept under tight security at a storage facility where they're batch tested before being distributed interstate. It's hoped this vaccine will be administered by Monday next week. Unlike the Pfizer vaccine, AstraZeneca can be stored at fridge temperature, making it easier to distribute. Australia has secured 54 million doses of this vaccine. Of that, 50 million doses will be manufactured here in Melbourne by CSL.
And Aussies Nicole Kidman and Kate Blanchett are up for Golden Globes today. This year's awards are a virtual event. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Fluorio milk comes from local cows and it's bottled right here. Look for the local Fluorio Milk Company.
What's happening with the Crows, Tom Wren?
Well, the Crows women, Mel, they are working towards another tilt at a premiership following a comprehensive 53-point win against St Kilda at Norwood Oval yesterday. They're now sitting in 4th place. Meantime, the Crows men have to decide whether to bring in number 2 pick Riley Thilthorpe for this weekend's trial match. He starred in the reserves match on the weekend with 4 goals. Let's go to tennis. Australian Alexei Popyrin has won the Singapore Open, claiming his first ever career tour-level title after beating Alexander Bublik in 3 sets in the final.
I don't think it's a feeling that I'll ever feel again, to be honest. It was an unbelievable feeling. To win my first ATP title. Maybe I'll get the feeling if I win my first Grand Slam.
To cricket, in South Australia is still without a win in the Sheffield Shield season after falling just short of outright points against WA in Perth. Chasing 332 to win, the Warriors limped to 9 for 148. David Grant and Dan Worrell with 4 wickets apiece. To soccer, in the second half, action between Liverpool and Sheffield United is on. Liverpool have now taken a 1-0 lead with about half hour to play. Earlier, Chelsea and Manchester United shared the points in a 0-0 draw. Tottenham thumped Burnley 4-0, while Arsenal came from a goal down to beat Leicester 3-1.
Arsenal looking to counter quickly. Here's Willian. It's a tap-in. It's easy for Pepe.
Yeah, good result for them. And Mel, that is the 5AA Sport.
Thank you. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Dave Potter, Australia's #1 Honda dealer, 2nd year running. DavePotterHonda.com.au.
Burst Water Main, Modbury Heights, McIntyre Road, Milne Road, Birkenhead, the Port River Expressway has a breakdown. Marion Road, Raglan Avenue, Plimpton Park, a smash also causing some minor dramas out that way. With Xero, it's easy to stay on top of your invoicing. It's online accounting for small business that makes preparing and tracking invoices simple. Try Xero for free. Search XERO. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Make sure you and your car stay cool with aircon and cooling services. Call 1300 Automasters.
26 today and partly cloudy, mostly sunny tomorrow 25, Wednesday sunny and 26. Right now it's 15 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
In the last hour on Adelaide's 5AA.
Valet to the straw, David Penberthy, and good morning to you.
Goodbye to the straw and good riddance to the straw, I think. Although I've got to say, some of those new cardboard-based straws, you got to drink quick, or else you end up with a mouth full of sodden card, don't you?
It becomes soggy and totally useless.
Hard to get the traction too.
We've run before we've walked when it comes to biodegradable straws, I think.
You know, the other question I've got though is how essential are they? It is possible to just drink from a container without a straw.
Very uncouth. I think we found our youngest listener. Someone's texted in a picture of their very young child watching along with us, rather frighteningly cast to the big screen TV, much bigger than the old 26-inch of 1975 that we've been talking about. Looks to me like it could be the YouTube live stream. I'm not sure. Maybe it's the Facebook one. Either way.
See, most babies are watching Paw Patrol or something like that. But this little fella's going to end up with a love of, political debate.
Adelaide,
breaking
hopefully.
News.
Well, look, text us back in about 30 years and let us know how you turned out, because it'd be an interesting experiment.
You're listening to 5AA Breakfast.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
7 minutes after 7. He's probably going to be too young to participate in a little game we're going to play a little bit later this morning. In fact, in about 10 minutes' time, it's called Beat the Music Man.
I am the music man. I come from that way and
David Penberthy is the music man, and this morning you'll be playing for tickets to a fantastic show that's going to be on here in Adelaide. Classic Bruce, an all-out, and it's not Bruce McAvaney, by the way, an all-out, all-Adelaide tribute to the songs and music of Bruce Springsteen. At Gluttony, you can get tickets at fringetix.com.au, or in a few minutes' time you can call in, and if you're able to identify a Bruce Springsteen song quicker than David does, you'll get the tickets. Simple as that. How are you feeling about that?
Nervous.
You're very quiet over there. What's going on?
I'm making notes.
Right. Bruce Springsteen.
Starting to hear greetings from Asbury Park, The Wild, the Innocent, and the E Street Shuffle, Born to Run, Nebraska.
You're going to
get them all.
You are going to take some beating on this. Well, this is good because we want a real fan to win the tickets. We'll play that in just a moment. One of the more extraordinary things I think I've read regarding an account of what's happening in the streets and suburbs of Adelaide was yours in the Australian a couple of days ago about the Chinese consulate at Jocelyn. I'll let you just set up what you discovered when you went door knocking in that area, and then we're going to speak with Lisa Medlin, who's one of the people you ended up speaking with, about what it's like when you live next door to the Chinese government.
I've got to say, I've been a journo for almost 30 years now, and in that time I've done dozens and dozens of jobs where you go out at random into the community and you knock on people's doors, politely introduce yourself, identify yourself as a journo. I reckon 3, maybe 4 out of 5 people just instinctively look at you and go, yeah, no, mate, sorry, not really that interested. This job, going out, and it was inspired by a phone call, from a friend of a friend who lives in the area, who said, look, you've really got to come out and check this out. It was almost like people were actively seeking me out, going, thank God someone's actually here, because we as a community cannot believe this is happening, with one exception. And, you know, what I ended up doing, I was there for 2 days, would have knocked on 30 doors, would have spoken to 20 odd people who were deeply unimpressed by what's been going on. I had one guy who's a really nice bloke. He was totally laid back about it. He said that he had no issue with it. He also said that he had 2 neighbours opposite who agreed with him. But overwhelmingly, people, when I knocked on their door, were saying, come in, would you like a coffee? I'll get my manila folder of all of the correspondence that I sent to the previous Labor government, that I've sent to the local member, Stephen Marshall, letters that I've written to my federal MP, which used to be Christopher Pyne, letters to the council. People were walking their dogs. And the reason is that 4 years ago, for what was believed to be about $5 million, even though now, today, it would probably be worth about 10, the Chinese government was allowed to buy up this vast 5,600 square metre site. You could get 25, 30 townhouses on it. It's that big. You could get 8 to 10 sprawling Joslin style homes on it. So it's right between 4th and 5th Avenue, and the place is a fortress. Like, it's not actually fully operational yet as a consulate, because they've been moving from Pennington to the eastern side of town.
That's the Crittenden Road run, is it?
That's right.
Yeah, right.
The one down there in Findon. So this place, it is fully fortified. It's got cameras everywhere. It's got transponders. It's got what look like movement sensors. But the manner in which the construction has been done is extraordinary. Like, there's one of the doors I knocked on, this young lad called Josh opened the door and I said, g'day, mate, I'm Dave, I'm a journo, I'm asking people. And he goes, mate, about the embassy? Yeah, I'll get mum. This is what happened to us. So about a year ago, this couple, Sharon and John, they came home and they got a little Bichon Frise poodle called Odie. Odie's running around on the road, and they go, that's funny. How'd Odie get out? And one of the neighbours has got Odie. And they said, we just found him on the road. And they went, that's weird. He never gets out. He can't get out. They went into their house. There's a bunch of Chinese labourers with no prior warning, no permission, no letter in the letterbox, no phone call. They've knocked down their entire back fence, which is about 8 metres long. They've chopped down a huge walnut tree, or ripped part of it out, which is then and a tree on the other side has fallen into the neighbour's backyard pool. And they hadn't told them that they were doing this, because they had joined the embassy, the consulate. Then, weeks later, they erected a 3-metre high concrete wall, this ruddy great reinforced concrete wall, that's got a camera on one end that's looking straight into their backyard. And look, the cameras, more than anything, I think, it's the cameras that people find really intrusive and distressing, particularly on this long laneway on the western end, where again labourers knocked down this whole stretch of wall right in front of these people's little townhouses, homettes. And then last year, when there was a graffiti attack by Hong Kong activists, the consulate put in even more cameras. And these cameras are like directly in front of people's private residences.
Lisa is one of the residents affected in Jocelyn and is on the line now. Lisa, good morning to you. What's your experience been like living next to the consulate?
Yeah, good morning. It was quite noisy when they were doing their first initial building and everything, and especially on the weekends. Even on a Sunday, they were making noise with their equipment and everything, which I didn't think was allowed first thing in the morning. But that eventually did stop and everything. It's just the cameras are the main concerns. They're just watching everyone in the street with the cameras there, and the kids, they can't, they would play in the street, and the kids would walk down the lane to the park, and they've just got the cameras there watching it. It's not very good.
That little row of houses a couple of doors down from you,
yeah.
Lisa, I spoke to a chap there, Chris, and also to the older lady who I think is 96 and she's on a walking frame. For those ones who are directly next door to it, like it's not an exaggeration. They'd literally look from their front door over that laneway and there's a camera pointing directly at their house.
Yeah, I mean, I feel sorry for those people. That would be terrible to be living with that. You can't do anything in your own yard.
The other thing too that I found quite striking talking to everyone was they seem to, anyone who has complained or queried it seems to get the runaround where the local council say, well, it's sort of out of our hands because it's sort of like federal laws apply because it's effectively like having an embassy right here.
Yeah, exactly right. The council don't want to say wipe their hands of it, and you're on your own. You don't know where to go. I mean, you know, we've had no consultation about having Chinese consulate in our street, or even about them putting up the cameras. I mean, we're all ratepayers here, and the council for us are very particular in what we can and can't do with our houses, our fences, etc.
Yeah.
And I mean, we even had problems with our front fence when we put that up with the council. It had to be, you know, particular type to match in with our house and our area. Yeah, the Chinese consulate, they can do whatever they like, and they even knock down a beautiful old building that we're not allowed to knock down our houses, and we're in a historic conservation zone, and that just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Brian over the road from you, he made a good point to me about that very thing, saying if we put up a 3-metre high fence, the council will come round and fine us.
Yeah. Lisa, thank you so much for talking with us. We really appreciate you you shedding some light on what it's like living in the area. If you go and I encourage anyone sitting on a computer and watching us on YouTube or Facebook at the moment, jump on Google Maps. Have a look where this is. So 4th Avenue, Jocelyn, that's a good place to drop your little marker. It's just the St. Peter's side of Paynham Road, basically. It doesn't get any more suburban than this. It doesn't get any more eastern suburbs. And I've got no qualms with a Chinese embassy being on King William Street.
No, exactly.
In the city, or North Terrace.
This is what people were saying. And like, these people aren't NIMBYs.
Yep.
They're not rednecks either. They understand that, well, historically at least, there was an argument for having a Chinese trade mission here because of trade, except that part of the relationship seems to have fallen apart quite spectacularly, which obviously is fueling some of the feeling, which is, well, hang on a minute. These people want to destroy the wine industry, the lobster industry. They want to destroy barley farms. Why are we rolling out the red carpet for them in the middle of suburbia? That's the problem now.
They give up the benefit of the doubt, don't they? You don't err on the side of, I'm sure they didn't mean to do it if there's wanton destruction elsewhere.
The consul got onto me on Friday because I emailed questions through, and they insist that they've been good neighbours and that everything that's been done in a construction sense has involved talking politely and collaboratively with their neighbours and getting permission in advance. Well, that's certainly not the experience that so many people I met had.
And all I would say is at a time when commercial accommodation in the city is struggling, we've got a lot of vacant space in the city at the moment. There's no reason to have a consul in the suburbs. There's no reason to have it in someone's street next to someone's house. There is oodles of space in town at the moment. And in fact, if the federal government wanted to give a leg up to the City of Adelaide, you might think of populating some of these empty buildings and spaces with things that are in your control like this, as opposed to making them problems for people like Lisa.
We can get him in the Nova building on the 5th floor.
I think we've got space above us, don't we, at the moment?
Yeah. I've been spending so much time with them lately. It'd be nice to catch up socially with them.
All right, let's check
Zhang,
traffic.
If you're listening,
and then you've got to turn your dial from matters of international consulate to matters of Bruce Springsteen.
Okay,
because we're going to play Beat Mr. Music in a moment. We've got a chance for you, our listeners, to win tickets for you and 3 friends to the Classic Bruce Show at Gluttony. Call now on 8223 0055 if you'd like to play. First, let's check traffic. Thanks to Dave Potter Honda, Australia's #1 selling Honda dealer. For a new car, make them your #1 choice.
A smashed Plimpton Park, Marion Road, Raglan Avenue, Modbury Heights, McIntyre Road, Milne Road, a burst water main. Getting busy at the Port River Expressway and the Southern Expressway up to South Road. The Ford plate clearance won't last, so hurry for great deals on the all-new Puma and Escape SUVs while stocks last. See Ford.com.au for details. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Leon Biner.
What happens when a cop spitter gropes a female officer's breasts? Well, apparently not much because they've had a tough life. What kind of nonsense is this?
9 till 12 weekdays.
Did we not, institute laws that were supposed to better protect first responders, which includes members of SAPOL. Well, what happened? What damn well happened?
On 5AA.
It doesn't matter what level you're at, from beginner to expert, the incredible team at Drummond Golf just love talking golf. Here's Shane from Drummond Golf.
G'day, Rowie.
Shane, is there anything you guys don't do?
We do the lot, from fitting you to the exact clubs best suited to your game and style of play. So you can also look the part. We've got plenty of clothing and we've got all the accessories to go with it.
Now, you guys have the best accessories. Seriously, it's like a golfer's wonderland down there. All the famous brands, and you also do lessons.
Absolutely. We'll get your handicap down. And don't forget, our driving range is there to hone your skills 7 days a week.
You're a legend, Shane. See Shane and the team at Drummond Golf, Enfield, Darlington, Mile End, Tea Tree Gully and the West Beach Driving Range.
Adelaide's newest Skoda showroom launches with its newest release. Visit the all-new Jarvis Skoda West Terrace in the city for the Skoda Kameek, a city-sized SUV that's compact on the outside and curiously roomy on the inside. Kameek features wireless phone charging, lane and blind spot assist and more, earning it the title of News Corp Car of the Year and a suitably compact price from $29,990. Visit Adelaide's newest Skoda showroom, Jarvis Skoda, 193 West Terrace in the city, MVD 285011.
Have you found yourself often asking people to repeat what they've just said because you're having trouble hearing them? Well, there could be a larger problem at play. This week is Hearing Awareness Week, so it's the perfect reminder to do something about it now and get hearing healthy. Hearing loss can be linked to other health issues like dementia, which is even more reason to have a regular hearing health check. The people to see about your hearing are Audica. They specialise in personal hearing health that's tailored to you. And free hearing health checks are available to adults aged 26 and over. With hundreds of local hearing clinics across the country, there's an Audica clinic that's close to you. Visit audica.com.au, that's Audica, AUDIKA.com.au, to book your free hearing health check. Be hearing healthy with Audica.
Summer's over, but with Mad March upon us, now's the perfect time to get into your local Vinnie shop and pick up a bargain. Now till Sunday, you'll save 30% off all clothing at all Vinnie's SA shops. Choose from a range of affordable pre-loved clothing, plus some top-name brands. And remember, shopping at Vinnie's is good for our environment, it's good for our community, and it's good for you. Find something unique at a Vinnie shop near you. vinnies.org.au/shops.
9 News, weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. The switch is on to the news that's live and local. 9 News, made in Adelaide.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
22 minutes after 7.
I am the music man. I come from that way and I can play.
It's time to play Beat the Music Man. David Penberthy is, of course, the Music Man.
Since when?
We just decided.
That's ridiculous.
It fits the jingle. You know lots about music. You're the Music Man, all right?
Okay.
Well, just said it. Okay, now it's your new nickname. All of David's friends, feel free to use it. He really likes it. The Music Man,
Don't
David
call me
Penberthy. Pemby.
Don't call me Pemby.
All you need to do to win is buzz in before David does and identify this Bruce Springsteen song. Now, he's got to wait 5 seconds before he can even start guessing.
I got a handicap.
He's got a handicap.
Several handicaps, in fact.
You can win tickets for you and 3 friends to Classic Bruce at Gluttony. You can get tickets right now at fringetix.com.au. There's 2 other ways to get them. Beat David, or if you're the second caller through, you get to be the Bradbury.
Stephen Bradbury of Australia across the line.
Yeah, that's right. If you're the second caller through and David wins, you get the tickets. So get calling 8223 Jenny in Hope Valley is contesting this morning. Morning to you, Jenny.
Yeah, good morning.
Good luck to you, Jenny. You've got a 5-second head start on me, so fingers crossed that should get you over the line.
Just shout out, Jenny, when you know the title of the song. Okay?
No problem.
All right, we've got Paul in Woodville South too on the line. He is today's Bradbury. Morning to you, Paul.
Morning, guys.
All right, just hold by there, Paul. You may have tickets coming your way if David's on his game. All right, Jenny, we're pulling for you. Here we go.
I'm on fire.
Oh, you are on fire, Jenny.
Oh,
Jenny! You are totally on fire. Jenny! Oh, you did it with ease. You've got the tickets. You and 3 friends. You're off to see Classic Bruce at Gluttony. Congratulations to you, Jenny. David didn't even have a chance.
Thank you. Oh, well, I love that song.
Yeah, it's a great song, great album. You're a big Boss fan, Jenny?
A little bit, yeah. I love him, but he's not my best. But,
Have you ever seen him live?
No, I wish I had.
Yeah, you've got to set aside a good 4 hours for it. It's a hell of a show.
It is. He's great. Good on you, Jenny.
Well done, Jenny.
Congratulations to you. This is going to be a terrific show at Gluttony. You can get tickets at fringetix.com.au. It's called Classic Bruce, and we're going to be playing Beat the Music Man all this week.
It's pretty easy, actually, by the looks of things. I just sit here doing nothing and watch people win tickets.
Well, feel sorry for our Bradbury and Paul, but we'll see.
I think Andy could have done a bit better with song selection. I mean, something off Greetings from Asbury Park would have been good. Something off his first album.
All right.
Something off side 2 of Nebraska, maybe.
Let's turn our attention to sport. Stephen Rose on the line, thanks to North Point Toyota. Their used vehicle stock constantly changing. Pop in and take a look. It's the North Point way. Morning to you, Rowie.
Oh, Pembo and Will, good morning. There's another classic Bruce. His name's Bruce McAvaney, a broadcasting great. He's a special South Aussie, no question, the most versatile and best. What's he done? Olympics and horse racing, AFL. His play-by-play calling of the AFL is done. It won't be the same on 7. And he'll be hard to replace, I would have thought.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
He's
One of the greats.
The sound of him and Cometti, like losing those two blokes, within a few years of each other, changes the whole tone of football. And don't you reckon, Rowie, it's weird for the TV commentators, a lot of them these days seem to be more, specifically disliked than liked. You see people really complaining a lot, and a lot of that's probably driven by social media. But Bruce and Cometti, no one ever really bagged them.
Yeah, because they were great. The thing I think set Bruce apart, when there was a big moment, he nailed the big moments. It's a bit like a footballer. You have to nail the big moments, and he did. We'll get Bruce on tonight. I want to talk the trial game. We called the Crows Port trial at Alberton. It was a top 14 v a bottom 14. Port won by 52. Their ball movement and method, I think, around the contest was just elite. They had 11 different goal kickers. They have this squad system mentality. It's going to work for them. Quarters have gone back to 20 minutes plus time on. I think that's when they did their most damage. Super impressed. Jones, Alir, Fantasia, their locks. To think Robbie Gray, Jonas and SPP come in. Hey, they're the real deal.
Their skills are just elite. That's what sets them aside. That's what will make them a top 3 side again this year. The way they use the footy, it was good. It was actually good for that Crow side to see what it's going to take to be top 4. And can I just say something as a Crows fan momentarily, Rowie? There was 40 minutes on the weekend that Crows fans got to feel optimistic. For 40 minutes, I reckon it lasted. And it was from the third quarter that Riley Thilthorpe tore apart in the Sandford trial game earlier, up until the news that came through that Wayne Miller was done for yet another year. I reckon it was 40 minutes. And it feels you feel cursed at the moment because you started to see a little bit of, not light at the end of the tunnel, but just something to be hopeful for, because it's been pretty gloomy for a while. And then that news came through. That's crushing.
It was patella tendon. He's out possibly 9 to 12 months. My thoughts with him. He's had no bloody luck, Wayne, and he was the run to carry the elite we needed through the midfield. Crows had a crack. They're just undermanned. Their centre square work needs work. I know it's only a trial. Midfield needs a boost. I like Pedler and Berry as well. I think Thilthorpe and those two have to come in. And until Talia and Duday get into the back 6, it's going to be a little bit tough for the boys. And just think about it. They had 29 more inside 50s. That's the game there. You flip that, it's a different story. Hey, we'll cover that. We'll cover Bruce. The Redbacks drew. Reds lost. I mean, they won. 36ers. Plenty to talk about in sport. We'll see you at 4.
Yeah, good on you, Rowie. Looking forward to what callers make of the jumper clash, the AFLW game at the Nord Parade yesterday.
I saw the photo you put up on Twitter. It was unbelievable. It looked like 36 people wearing identical jumpers.
It was. I've never seen anything like it in my life. Thankfully.
How can that not be foreseen?
I don't know. I think that's the conversation everyone at the ground was having. Thankfully, the girls absolutely dominated, so it wasn't hard to pick who was who in the end, because they were just a class above. But I'm looking forward to the discussion with Rowie a little bit later today. 29 minutes after 7. We're going to talk about the redevelopment of the Hutt Street Centre after 7:30. That's coming up.
Can't hear all that now, can you? That's because this home has a Jolong double-glazed window and door system featuring high-performance sound insulation and heat resistance. That's not all Jolong can do for you. They can also help design your home with the light luxury and elegance you desire. And Jolong is on this journey with you for life, with lifetime service. Visit jolong.com.au.
You don't need to travel far to experience the extraordinary with Globus, Cosmos and Phil Hoffman Travel. From visiting unspoiled waters in the top end to enjoying fresh oysters in Tassie, sunset on Rottnest Island or seeing the sunrise at Uluru, the choice is yours with a 7-day guided tour starting from $2,580 per person. Explore with a local Phil Hoffman Travel, proudly South Australian and here for you. Visit pht.com.au.
At CMAX, we know your time is valuable, which is why we're happy to pay you for it. CMAX requires people aged 45 to 85 diagnosed with moderate to severe osteoarthritis to participate in our study at CMAX in collaboration with University of Adelaide. If eligible, you'll be required to visit us 14 times over a 12-month period. On completion, you will be paid $2,670 for your time. Interested? Call CMAX on 1800 150 433.
I'm Kate Cotty, the first woman to sail solo, non-stop and unassisted around the world. And if you're like me, and where you call home changes over time, FIVEaa offers a range of home insurance options to choose from, including house, apartment and village living.
Call FIVEaa on 13 50 50 for a quote today. FIVEaa. Get set, go. FIVEaa is an authorised representative of AAI Limited, the product issuer. Limits, exclusions and conditions apply. Before buying this insurance, read the PDS. Contact us for a copy.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy and 26 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations, physioextra.com.
A man has died following a single-car rollover in the state's southeast. Senior Constable Kylie Simpson says it happened at Avenue Range near Lucendale just before midnight.
The driver and the sole occupant of the Holden sedan, a 58-year-old man from Kingston, sadly died at the scene. Major crash officers have flown to the scene to examine the circumstances, and it is the 17th life lost on SA roads compared to 16 at the same time last year. And
a man's done a runner after a single-car crash at Clemzig. A woman was seriously injured in the smash on North East Road around 3:45 this morning. The missing driver is described as Caucasian, aged 30 to 40, with tattoos on one arm. He was wearing a dark T-shirt and was last seen on OG Road. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. Emergency crews are attending a fire at a factory on Grand Junction Road at Wingfield. Nicole Bradley from the MFS says it's now under control.
The fire was located in a hopper within a large industrial shed and was caused by 30 tonne of meat meal, which is a protein stock feed, self-igniting. Crews in breathing apparatus use hose lines and thermal imaging cameras to contain the fire and are now in the process of removing the product so it can be fully extinguished.
Selected single-use plastics are now officially banned in SA. From today, businesses will face fines if they sell or supply plastic straws, cutlery and drink stirrers. Environment Minister David Spears says South Australia is leading the way on outlawing plastic.
We know that these items are right up there with the litter found on our beaches, in our oceans, in our creeks and parks, and so we wanted to move very quickly on these items.
Batches of the AstraZeneca vaccine are being checked after the first 300,000 doses arrived in Australia over the weekend. More than 50 million doses have been ordered. Many of those will be produced in Melbourne. Meantime, federal police have reportedly started compiling lists of anti-vaccination protesters. There are fears they could target vaccine storage facilities. Health Minister Greg Hunt recently had his electorate office targeted by anti-vax demonstrators. He says the government will combat the spread of false COVID information.
But in terms of myths and public information, Home Affairs has been working with Health. If there are any issues of criminality, I would respectfully leave that to the police.
There are calls for the Prime Minister to stand down one of his cabinet ministers and launch an investigation into historical rape allegations. The claims, reported to police last year, date back more than 30 years before the person was a Member of Parliament. Meantime, Victorian Liberal Senator Sarah Henderson says she has passed on an email containing a rape allegation against an unnamed Labor MP to federal police. Now turning to 5AA's sport.
Fluorio milk comes from local cows and it's bottled right here. Look for the local Fluorio Milk Company.
And it's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. A win for Adelaide in the AFLW. They gave St Kilda a 53-point thumping at Norwood Oval yesterday. But footy fans were left unhappy when both teams donned white jerseys, the only difference being the colour of their shorts and a red streak on the St Kilda outfit. Meantime, Collingwood has cemented itself as one of the AFLW Premiership favourites after downing Melbourne by 35 points. To cricket in South Australia's frustrating Sheffield Shield seasons continued after falling agonisingly short of a first win against WA in Perth. Chasing 332 to win, the Warriors got into early trouble and limped to 9 for 148. The match all coming down to the final ball.
The last ball of the Sheffield Shield game. Chad Sayers, he needs a wicket to win the game for the Redbacks. It's popped up in the air, it's landed safely. He survived. Liam O'Connor has done it for Western Australia. A heroic not out.
To soccer, and Liverpool's on the verge of bouncing back to the winners list in the English Premier League, currently leading Sheffield United 2-0 deep into injury time. Earlier, Tottenham smashed Burnley 4-0. Arsenal came from a goal down to beat Leicester 3-1, while Chelsea and Manchester United drew 0-0. And American Colin Morikawa holds a 2-shot lead heading into the back nine of the WGC Championship event in Florida. Cameron Smith, the best of the Aussies, finishing 7 shots back. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Dave Potter, Australia's #1 selling Honda dealer. For a new car, make them your #1 choice.
Plimpton Park, a smash, Marion Road, Raglan Avenue, Modbury Heights, McIntyre Road, Milne Road, a burst water main. Busy on the Southern Expressway to South Road and the Port River Expressway also. Don't have Foxtel? The world's best sports and entertainment is on sale now. Sport, drama, movies and Netflix all in one place. Get it now, search Foxtel or call 131787. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Make sure you and your car stay cool with aircon and cooling services. Call 1300 Automasters.
Partly cloudy 26 today, mostly sunny tomorrow 25. Wednesday sunny and 26. Right now it's 15 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
23 minutes to 8. Great key change in that song. Coming up very shortly, John Blake, after 8 o'clock, we'll talk about the demise. I can do the music stuff.
I was going to say, maybe you're the music man.
No, I just thought I'd throw it in there. I'm feeling like I'm being left behind.
I really hate that nickname. It's not going to stick.
The music man.
No.
Why? You know what won't help? The fact you've got your own theme now.
I am the music man.
Get rid of it.
Okay. So after 8 o'clock today, the Environment Minister, David Spears, will join us as well because plastic straws and spoons and cutlery are no more. We're the first state to have gone plastic-free, single-use plastic. Well, at least we've started the process. More of it will happen in 2022. We'll speak with the Environment Minister after 8. You might have a question for him. And as always, the phone lines are open for you to ask those questions. The host of the Channel 7 Sunrise program, David Koch, a little bit later too. But first, wanted to check in with our good friends at the Hutt Street Centre. CEO Chris Burns is on the line. And Chris, you've got the exciting new headquarters.
We have, Will. It's a very exciting day yesterday. We got to open up the fully refurbished Hutt Street Centre. After 67 years, the building was getting tired, and we've now got a hugely modernised and inviting place for our clients to come to.
I've got to say, Chris, we've been into the Hutt Street Centre a few times, and it was a pretty humble setup. I mean, it basically from the front just looked like an old house with the sort of catacombs of rooms and dining areas in the back. But you've totally done a root and branch job on it, haven't you?
Absolutely. Basically, it was 3 houses that were interconnected. We just gutted them. And it was interesting when they did the demolition, we suddenly realised how much room we had. But now we've got bright open spaces where that invites people to come in and just allows us to support people who are the most vulnerable in our society as quickly and as smoothly as possible. It's tremendous.
And Chris, just in terms of because there have been issues over the years on and off with a few residents and some businesses in the area having concerns about it. Has the upgrade sort of, do you think, gone some way also to assuaging those concerns that people have with a more modern and more purpose built type approach for the centre?
I think so, David. In fact, You might remember there was the open courtyard at the front entrance. Well, we've moved the entrance right out to the footpath now, and it's a large open entrance that draws our clients in rather than being on the street. So we can get them inside the centre as soon as possible and start supporting them with wellbeing services. We've also paid homage to our heritage and the streetscape, and I think when you see that the front of the buildings now, you'll just see it really blends in nicely with the whole street. And I hope it's valued by our local neighbours. We certainly do get tremendous support from our neighbours, so it's I think we've gone a long way to addressing some of the issues that were there.
Hey, Chris, has COVID increased the numbers of Adelaide's homeless population?
For us, it most definitely has, yes. We're seeing just on 830 clients a month at the moment, but 100 of them are new clients. These are people that haven't been homeless before. And that's a very concerning aspect for us, but what's more concerning is that of that 100 new clients every month, 35% of them are females, and generally older females as well. So it's a whole new diverse demographic coming through the centre. And that's the beauty of this new centre, is we've been able to set up we've built a family retreat in just so that the kids and the women can be in a safe place. So it couldn't have come at a better time because of the growth and diversity of clients we've got.
That's really concerning. That statistically is a significant increase in the number of homeless people then. That's what, 12 to 15% increase over the course of the last year. And as you guys always say, Chris, and you know the data better than I, they're the ones that turn up and present to you, but there'd be a stack more that are homeless and couch surfing or sleeping in cars and doing other things.
Oh, absolutely. When someone walks through our door, they've made that conscious decision that I'm now homeless, and people try everything possible to not be in that predicament. And as you said, they'll couch surf, they'll stay with friends, they'll stay with family. But the moment they come through the door, that's their admission to themselves that they are homeless. But the beauty is what we can do now is grab them straight away and start wrapping around them. For us, it's not just a meal. It's by them coming through the door, we can engage them with a case manager as soon as possible. We can get them the support of the nurse. We can get them financial advice, legal advice, whatever they need, because our objective is to get them out of homelessness as quickly as possible.
Well, Chris, it's great to hear all about this, and it'll be good later in the year when we work together again on the Undy Drive, because we had to put a line through that last year on account of the lockdown and all of the social distancing and everything. Random strangers exchanging underpants was deemed to be verboten during the lockdown. So we'll get that back up and running in 2021, mate.
I'm absolutely looking forward to it, and feel free to drop in anytime you like.
Good on you, mate. Thank you, Chris.
Cheers.
Chris Burns, the CEO of the Hutt Street Centre. The pictures are up on the FIVEaa Facebook page. We're streaming them on YouTube via our live stream there, and we might put them up on the website as well, so you can take a look. They've done a wonderful job, and they do incredible work there.
We're getting a lot of feedback on the Telstra Store Mount Barker text line about the Chinese consulate in Joslin. Ray says, hey guys, how many Chinese, quote, officials are involved in this complex, and what are their roles? And then with the word possibly in all caps, what possibly could the overkill interest be in Adelaide? Another one here, just point blank. Ed from Beulah Park, echoing what Rex Patrick has said, says they're only here to spy on the subs and the defence work that we are doing. It does seem to be an extravagantly staffed consul for processing people's visa applications, particularly given that right now there's no international students, no one's going on holidays. None of us are heading up to Wuhan for the weekend.
Well, you said there are 12 full-time staff there, and you're reporting it. I think the only other consulates in Adelaide are the Italian and the Greek, and there's just a handful of people that work between the two of them.
Yeah, they're tiny.
So what's the pressing...
It's a big operation.
What is the pressing requirement?
The funniest thing was while I was there, a chap who gave his name as Shan Li, he came out from inside the consulate and said, what are you doing? And I said, we're doing a story about neighbours having complaints about the consulate. And I said, don't worry. I said, I'll be more than happy to interview you if you're up for that. He said, no. I don't want to talk to you. And I said, well, I'll put my questions to the consulate before we publish anything. I'll email my questions through. And then he just looked at me and he said, but did you get permission to do this? And I said, from who? He said, did you get permission from the consulate or did you get permission from the police? And I said, I don't actually need to, mate. Like, with respect, I'm sort of standing here on 5th Avenue, Joslin. Like, You don't need permission to do that. You don't need permission to stand on an Australian street talking to Australian residents.
Yeah, that may have been an unfamiliar concept, I suspect.
Well, I just thought, what a crazy contrast. Like, he's a very pleasant chap.
Yeah.
And, but just the sort of default position, have you got permission? Well, no, I haven't. And I don't need to get it.
Can you knock on their door, given they're in suburbia and, if you need to, you've run out of sugar or...
Oh, yeah.
If your Uber Eats delivery gets unfortunately knocked next door, do you just, sorry, guys, it's happened again.
Well,
they got
no,
the numbers
you can't,
mixed up.
Actually, because the other people I spoke to had their NBN kept dropping out.
Right.
And they got onto Telstra and they said, look, we keep losing our internet. We're not sure why. And they came and they looked at the cable and they pulled the cable under their own backyard and realised that it was in the consulate and that the construction workers had just been cutting through it. They'd repeatedly cut through it. And they went to the consulate and said, you've cut our NBN cable. Can we come in? Because we need to get the Telstra guys to fix it. And they said, sorry, you are not allowed into the consulate. So this guy had to pay out of his own pocket to put in a satellite so that he can use the internet.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. 15 to 8. Let's check traffic thanks to Dave Potter Honda, Australia's #1 Honda dealer for a second year running. It's davepotterhonda.com.au.
Modbury, Smart Road, Seymour Avenue, a two-car smash near there, McIntyre Road, Milne Road, dealing with the burst water main. Busy for the Southern Expressway up to South Road and the freeway down track due to those ongoing roadworks. With Post Bill Pay from Australia Post, you can conveniently pay all kinds of bills in one place. Visit your local post office today. Additional fees and limits may apply. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Right now, it's Toyota time. Score a great deal across a selected range of new Toyota forklifts, including electric pallet jacks and Toyota's market-leading counterbalance forklifts. Plus, take advantage of the instant asset write-off. But hurry, as time is ticking on these great forklift deals. Call 1-800-425-438 or click toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Don't just get a forklift, get a Toyota forklift.
Terms and conditions apply. Private buyers only. Offer ends March 31st.
Hi, Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. Do you know about Toop Vault? It's a unique product devised by us more than 6 years ago that's evolved into one of Australia's most effective off-market property selling tools. With a database that's fast approaching 17,000 active buyers, Toop Vault is ideal for a targeted, discreet property campaign. The Vault works so well that it sells more than one home a week. To unlock the benefits of Toop Vault, call us today on 8362 8888 or go to vault.toop.com.au.
Now, we've grown accustomed to some uncertainty in life and adaptability is important, but one thing you can always rely on is finding something unique at a Vinnie's shop.
And look, that's right, Will. No two Vinnie's shops are the same. That's part of the fun of shopping there. And until Sunday, there's 30% off all clothing at all Vinnie's SA shops.
Choose from a range of affordable pre-loved clothing plus some top-name brands. And remember, shopping at Vinnie's is good for our environment, good for our community and good for you.
Find a Vinnie's shop near you at vinnies.org.au/shops.
At Coles, enjoy great value with new Coles Plus online subscription offer. Get double Flybuys points, free 90-minute click and collect and much more. All for just $19 a month. Sign up today and get the first month free. Coles, value the Australian way.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
12 minutes to 8, John Blake not too far away. Environment Minister David Spears after 8 on the end of single-use plastics in South Australia. Then after 8:30 today, the host of Channel 7 Sunrise program, David Kosh. And from that Channel 7 stable comes Amelia Mulcahy. Morning to you, Amelia.
Good morning, guys. Happy Monday. How are we?
Very well, thanks, Amelia. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful week right up to and including the long weekend, hopefully.
We do. We've got a really lovely week ahead, actually. First week of autumn. Of course, today's the 1st of March. And you might have noticed that, you know, the days are sort of getting a bit shorter. Sunrise was at around 7 a.m. this morning. You guys would be a very good gauge of that, keeping an eye on things in High Marsh Square. We've only got a month left of daylight saving. So, you know, make the most of these longer days and, you know, light nights because we do have, unfortunately, an end in sight soon. But great weather for festival season, which is really just in full swing in Adelaide at the moment. You don't need me to tell you that. It was a massive weekend in Adelaide. And luckily, for a lot of the venues, they're all open air. So, you know, RCC or the Summer House on the riverbank there, they're all open air. So if you are going to see a performance there, you'll be fine this week. We've got dry conditions and quite warm during the day as well, actually warmer than the last week of summer, interestingly. We're going for a top of 26 degrees today, 25 tomorrow. Cool night, so in the mix. So if you are heading out at night, make sure you grab a jacket. And then we're just going to stay in the mid-20s for the middle of the week, 26th Wednesday, 26th Thursday, warming up into the long weekend, like you say. So 29 degrees Saturday, 30's the top on Sunday. So some really lovely conditions. Hopefully we hold on to that into the public holiday Monday. We have just seen the odd light shower around Adelaide this morning, but other than that, a relatively dry week ahead, which is great because we've got so much on.
No, it's a cracking time of year and a cracking week weather-wise. Good stuff, Amelia. Thanks so much.
No worries, guys. Enjoy.
Amelia Mulcahy from 7 News. I was driving along East Terrace, actually, on Saturday night, and they close it off a bit to allow foot traffic to cross over from Rundle Street to the Parklands to go to the Gluttony and the Garden of Earthly Delights and whatnot. One thing I'd have heard anecdotally, though, being the reduction in capacities being what they are, often the really nice thing about the Fringe is it's free to wander into these sorts of places. You can wander off the street and go and just soak up the atmosphere. It's a good free community event. It can be really, in those peak times, really difficult to do so at the moment because of capacity. So you have to buy a ticket to a show to guarantee you get in.
Yeah.
That's what I heard happened over this last weekend, which is no indictment on any of the organisation. It's the reality of the world we're currently living in, and it goes to the popularity of these events that are on at the moment. So if you are thinking of wandering in, it might be worth just $15 show or something or other, so you can go in, watch something, and make sure you
got
a
ticket.
Yeah, so you get in that way.
Yeah, good advice.
9 minutes to 8. It's time for John Blake.
Now we go inside the office of the Premier of South Australia, Stephen Marshall, and his assistant, Julian.
Yes, Julian.
Good morning, Premier. Would you like a cuppa?
Oh, that'd be good, thanks.
Yes, you need something good, don't you?
What?
I'll bring it in.
Here we are, tea lady.
Oh, good, thanks.
You're welcome, Premier.
What's going on?
Well, there's a delegation here to see you.
Oh, where from?
They're a group of people who'd like to discuss with you the cancelling of the V8 Supercars event.
But that's done and dusted. What do they want exactly?
Well, considering it was supposed to be on this weekend, they just want to discuss a broad range of possibilities for the future.
Well, what specifically?
I'm not sure. I'll just check with them. They're in the outer office.
Oh, right.
They said if it's not too much trouble, they'd like you to bring it back.
Well, that's not going to happen. Anyway, we've got the Masters Games coming up, and that's going to be pretty good.
Yes, I'm sure the Rev Heads would love to watch old people playing bocce ball.
Of course.
Right, I'll just go and tell them.
Right. What did they say?
They said they'd like to discuss it further and accused you of not listening to what the people want.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Right, I'll go and tell them. I told them, Premier.
Good, well done. That seemed to calm them down.
Oh, you heard all that, did you?
Oh, yeah, I pride myself on always listening to what the community wants.
Good, well, I'll book you in for a hearing test.
Sorry?
More from John Blake coming up after 8:30 when we go behind closed doors. Our weekend real estate wrap coming up in just a moment.
When you talk to your local Nissan fleet manager, you'll hear this. That's the sound of us listening. It's what we do. Visit your local Nissan dealer or search Nissan Fleet today.
The Barossa Valley is gorgeous, which is why it makes sense to make the Vine change to retirement living in Barossa Village in Angaston, Tanunda and Nooriutpa. It's the retirement lifestyle you deserve, and your pets too. Yes, your pets are your family, so you should never have to choose between your lifestyle and your beloved animals. Make the Vine change at Barossa Village, under an hour from the city. Find out more at barossavillage.org.
No one wants to spend their weekend in emergency. So if you hurt yourself on a Saturday or Sunday, Dr. Greg Keane says come and see SportsMed instead.
The doctors at our weekend injury clinic can treat any sporting or orthopaedic injuries right away. You won't have to wait all afternoon.
And a standard consult costs less than a private hospital emergency department, right?
Much less.
World-class care without the wait. SportsMed.
Start living life again after your injury.
Sportsmed.com.au.
9 News, weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. The switch is on to the news that's live and local. 9 News, made in Adelaide.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
6 minutes to 8 after 8 o'clock this morning. Environment Minister David Spears on the banning of single-use plastic starts today. No more plastic cutlery, no more straws. They'll extend to other things in the future. But if you've got a question for the Environment Minister, phone lines are open, 8223 0000. You can speak directly to him or text us on the Telstra Store Mount Barker text line. First, let's talk real estate. Susanna Toop from Toop and Toop joins us. Morning, Susanna.
Good morning, guys.
So, Susanna, it's been nice weather for selling houses. How did the weekend go?
Oh, look, it's been beautiful weather, but we saw over 1,000 people this weekend at our open inspections, almost 400 more than last weekend. So numbers very much keep rising. And to auctions, we had a great result in McGill. A 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home went under the hammer and sold for $750,000. So
Jeez.
Huge weekend again this weekend. Things just keep going from strength to strength.
That's good. That's good. So what suburbs are doing the best during this boom period?
Look, you've got your usual contenders. So you've got your Norwood, Parkside, Croydon, Henley Beach. And an example of this is a 3-bedroom cottage in Norwood, had its first open inspection this weekend and saw 70 groups through. But we're also seeing suburbs like Aldana come through the ranks. So we just launched a beautiful 6-bedroom home on Friday night and had over 60 groups through. And in Fulham Gardens last weekend, we had a property that went under the hammer, a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom on over 1,000 square metres, sold for $990,000.
Jeez.
And then if you're looking at rentals, we saw huge activity in Plympton, Hilton, Clapham, St Peters, College Park. The property in Hilton had over 200 inquiries and 55 people formally applied. So we're just seeing a huge range of activity right across the board, as you can see, not just those sort of regular ones, those suburbs that you hear a lot about, but certainly another ones that are coming through the ranks as well.
Good on you, Susanna. Thank you very much for that. Susanna Toop from Toop and Toop Real Estate.
It's 4 minutes to 8. Donald Trump is now 45 minutes late to talk at the
not like him.
The CPAC conference in Orlando, Florida. 45 minutes late. We were expected to hear from him during the program. Now we're not so sure. But if he does speak and reveals anything about his political future, we'll hear it here on 5AA Breakfast. Graham in Tennyson's called in on March the 1st, C-Day in Australian history, 1975. We've got colour TV. What are your memories of it, Graham?
Morning, boys. Well, as a kid, we just used to sit there and watch the test pattern.
There was the girl drawing the face on the balloon, wasn't it?
That's right. And then it went to colour, and it was fascinating to watch the test pattern, with the music, of course.
Yeah, the test pattern really shifted it up a gear when it went to colour, didn't it?
Just in memory, too, as you know, in those days, the TV channels used to switch off about midnight. They used to have, like, the national anthem or something, and then they'd turn off. But when colour came out, they went 24/7. Of course, they just stuck the test pattern on come midnight. You know, so that was the first time that TV was 24/7.
Until Bob Pachetti came along.
No, that's right. Just in relation to, well, you're talking about hard rubbish and dumping televisions. It may be the case a while ago that you could do hard rubbish with electronic waste, but as far as I know, I'm in Charles Sturt, and I had to dump an old plasma like Dave was talking about earlier, and I had to actually, they said that you can't put it out in hard rubbish. You have to take a dedicated electronic waste facility, and there's one in Too Good Avenue.
Yeah, I know the place.
And that's where I took it. And there were a stack of tellies there, small, large, whatever. So I'm not sure on other councils, maybe they do pick them up, but apparently there's some fairly precious metals in old electronics, so they are quite recyclable.
Yeah, it's a good point, Graham. Well, I wondered to what degree people often put them out, assuming that someone will drive past and pick them up.
Yeah, they'd go.
I think they do. I think
that happens.
I think they are worth some money as a recyclable thing. And if you can remember, Dave, the old plasmas, I used to sell them. I used to work at an electronics store back in the day when plasmas first came out. And I got an idea of the pricing, and I think the standard size for a 42-inch, and they're all Japanese manufacturers at the time. There was no Chinese or Korean manufacturers around, so they were either Pioneer or they were Panasonic or Sony. And they used to sell, I think the 42s were selling at around close to $4,000.
Yeah.
And I think they did bring out some larger screens. I think they went to 50-inch and 60-inch, and some of them were like $8,000.
Wow.
And people were still buying them.
So for $4,000 these days, you'd probably get 80 inches.
You could buy a good second-hand car for $6,000.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Absolutely.
I bought a bad one for $2,000.
And one other memory of those old plasmas is how hot they used to get on the top. You could fry an egg on them. So I don't know how much electricity they used to chew up. But
They used to be really, really heavy too, Graham, when they started.
Yeah, good on you, Graham. Thank you for that. Debbie's on the mobile. She's called in too. Morning, Debbie.
Morning, gentlemen. When I was younger, we used to live with my nana and pop, and we lived next door to my auntie and uncle, and we had a gate. And they bought a colour TV, but of course, when they first came out, they were the big furniture units. And they had a shack up at Bow Hill. And when they used to go away, on the weekend, we used to babysit the colour TV.
Oh, really?
It used to come next door. Used to carry it next door to us. So no one broke into their house and stole
Oh,
it.
how selfless of you, Debbie.
Yes, we babysat the colour. I mean, I was only like 6, but my dad and my grandpa and that, they would bring it next door and then carry it back when they got home. And, those furniture units, they were massively big and heavy.
That's-
the big
oh, yeah.
Chrysler, with the wood panelling down the side.
Yeah, and the buttons that used to click when you changed channels.
That's fantastic, Debbie. Appreciate it. Getting some lovely memories on the show this morning. 8223 0000 is the number. Keep them coming in. Or you might have a question for the Environment Minister, David Spears, who will join us after the break to talk single-use plastics.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy today and a top of 26 with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Physio Extra is a registered NDIS provider, so let them support you in achieving your goals. PhysioExtra.com.
The search is continuing for a driver who left the scene of a crash at Clemzig this morning. Senior Constable Kylie Simpson says the passenger was hurt in the smash.
About 3:45 this morning, police were called to North East Road at Clemzig after reports of a single car crash. So on arrival, patrol located a female passenger in the car with serious injuries. She's been taken to the Royal Adelaide Hospital, and that's where she remains in a serious condition.
The male driver was last seen on OG Road. A 58-year-old man has been killed in a car rollover in the state's southeast. Police were called to Avenue Range near Lucendale just before midnight. The Kingston resident passed away at the scene. The road toll for 2021 is now sitting at 17. Fire crews have contained a fire at the MBL Proteins factory at Wingfield. It broke out in a hopper in a shed at the Grand Junction Road property around 4 a.m. Nicole Bradley from the MFS says it was caused by 30 tonnes of stock feed self-igniting.
Quick action by firefighters resulted in the fire being contained to the machine, resulting in only product loss, which is estimated at $30,000.
Businesses across Adelaide took a hit with no Adelaide 500 this weekend. The Marshall government pulled funding for the Supercars event, angering fans. Opposition leader Peter Malinauskas says it would have been a welcome boost during the COVID downturn.
These hospitality and tourism businesses have felt the pain throughout COVID, and they turned on their TV sets yesterday and saw interstate visitors going to Bathurst in New South Wales rather than coming to Adelaide for our Supercars event. That's disappointing, which is why I've got a promise to bring back the Adelaide 500 if we win the next election.
The final report from the Aged Care Royal Commission will be made public this week. The document was handed to the federal government last week and is believed to contain more than 100 recommendations. Aged and Community Services Chief Executive Patricia Sparrow is hopeful the report will also address issues surrounding the wait for home care.
And put more home care packages in to support people. We do have to make sure that it's phased in, but we need to get those people the support as quickly as possible.
Aussies Nicole Kidman and Kate Blanchett are up for Golden Globes today. Michael Genovese reports from the Beverly Hilton.
Tina Fey and Amy Poehler are hosting the awards in front of an audience of frontline workers, including volunteers from Food Bank. The nominees have been told to stay at home this year and to log in virtually. It's the fourth time Tina Fey and Amy Poehler have hosted the awards. The first time they'll do it from different cities. Fey is in New York, Poehler here in LA. Kate Blanchett has been nominated for her performance in Mrs. America and Nicole Kidman for her role in The Undoing, the pair competing in the category of Best Actress in a limited series or motion picture made for TV.
In the US, a school district has cancelled Dr. Seuss. For the past 20 years, the doctor has been the face of the annual Read Across America Day, but the Virginia school district has accused the beloved author's books of having strong racial undertones. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Fluorio milk comes from local cows and it's bottled right here. Look for the local Fluorio Milk Company.
And it's over to Tom Wren.
Morning, Mel. Adelaide defender Wayne Millerer has had surgery to repair his patella tendon injury following Saturday's trial match against Port Adelaide. The 23-year-old is set to miss the rest of the season. Meantime, the Crows women will recover today following yesterday's 53-point thrashing of St Kilda. To cricket, in South Australia remains on the bottom of the Shield table after the match against WA finished in a draw. The Redbacks were just 1 wicket away from their first win for the season. To golf, and South African Brandon Grace has recorded his second PGA Tour win after a huge finish at the Puerto Rico Open. The 32-year-old finished one shot clear of Venezuela's Jonathan Vegas after a stunning final couple of holes.
And how clutch is the last 2 holes by Brandon Grace. Eagle birdie to finish with.
Yeah, unbelievable, that audio, thanks to Fox. Grace won at 19 under par, while Cameron Percy was the best of the Aussies, finishing 5 shots back in a tie for 7th. Meantime, the World Golf Championships in Florida are reaching the final half dozen holes, with American Colin Morikawa leading at 17 under by a shot. Cameron Smith is in the clubhouse. He's the best of the Aussies, finishing 7 shots back. Shane van Gisbergen has made a blistering start to the Supercars season after claiming back-to-back wins at Bathurst. Australian Alexei Poprin is set to jump back inside the top 100 following his first ever ATP title win, claiming the Singapore Open, beating Alexander Bublik in 3 sets. And in some soccer to finish, Liverpool has revived its hopes of a top 4 finish after beating Sheffield United 2-0 this morning. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Dave Potter, Australia's #1 Honda dealer, 2nd year running. DavePotterHonda.com.au.
Getting busy around Modbury, firstly due to a smash at Smart Road, Seymour Avenue, and burst water main, with delays for Milne Road as you approach McIntyre Road. Busy also for Grand Junction Road, Fosters Road, North-South Motorway, and Marion Road at Cross Road. IKEA family members, save $50 off your next purchase when you spend over $250 in store. This IKEA family offer ends Sunday, March 14th. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Make sure you and your car stay cool with aircon and cooling services. Call 1300 Automasters.
Partly cloudy today, a top of 26, mostly sunny tomorrow 25 and 26 again on Wednesday. Right now it's 16 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
In the last hour on Adelaide's 5AA.
About the Chinese consulate at Jocelyn.
It was almost like people were actively seeking me out, going, thank God someone's actually here, because we as a community cannot believe this is happening.
Speak with Lisa Medlin, who's one of the people you ended up speaking with, about what it's like when you live next door to the Chinese government.
It was quite noisy when they were doing their first initial building and everything, and especially on the weekends, even on a Sunday they were making noise with their equipment and everything, which I didn't think was allowed. The cameras are the main concern. They're just watching everyone on the street.
Wanted to check in with our good friends at the Hutt Street Centre. CEO Chris Burns is on the line.
It's a very exciting day. Yesterday we got to open up the fully refurbished Hutt Street Centre. And after 67 years, the building was getting tired, and we've now got a hugely modernised and inviting place for our clients to come to.
Playing Beat the Music Man all this week.
Pretty easy, actually, by the looks of things. I just sit here doing nothing and
Yeah,
watch people win
worked
tickets.
well.
I think Andy could have done a bit better with song selection. Something like Greetings from Asbury Park would have been good. Yeah, something of his first album.
All right.
You're listening to 5AA Breakfast.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
8 minutes after 8. Looking forward to more of Beat the Music Man over the course of the week. David's nickname, the Music Man, of course. Another thing we're going to be doing... It's not going to get tired. Another thing that we're going to be doing this morning...
A nickname for you.
Yeah, can you broadcast any of
Will,
them?
or as he likes to be called, Pookie Bear.
Hey, we sort of said that was a no-go zone. Hey, we got a whole suite of Wallace cinema passes to give away in the last hour of the show.
Cream-coloured ponies and crisp apple strudels, doorbells and sleigh bells and schnitzel with noodles, wild geese that fly with the moon on their wings. These are a few of my favourite things.
ING have released a new report called the ING Sense of Us report, which is sort of a fun sense. It's asking Australians what they think about a whole bunch of topics that are kind of fun, everyday sorts of things. things, and they've boiled it down to what they knew or have learnt about South Australians, asking things about what do they think the Aussie musical anthem is, what Aussie slang do they use the most, who's your favourite entertainer, what type of coffee do you drink, what do you want to do in 2021, what job would you like to have, these sorts of things. So if you want to, we want to do our own version of this with our own 5AA breakfast survey, ask you those questions, simple questions. If you just participate, we'll give you a Wallace Cinema pass.
Yeah.
So you get a free night at the movies on us.
Good.
We just want to hear what you think about for your favourite songs, what type of coffee you have, all that kind of stuff. 8223 You can get calling now. We'll give you a buzz back a little bit later in the morning.
What was voted the anthem, the Australian unofficial anthem?
Men at Work's
Down Under. Okay.
Yep. You're the Voice was second. Working Class Man third. We'll get into more of the
no
results.
Long Way to the Top?
No.
Bon Scott?
No.
Adelaide's own?
Didn't make the top three.
Perth claiming.
8223 0000 or 55 is the number if you'd like to participate in our survey, and we'll send you off to the movies just for doing so. We'll do that a little bit later in the morning. It's breaking at 8 time.
Well, today's Breaking at 8 is about our exclusive story about the Chinese consulate in Joslin. One thing that was repeatedly said to me by the many locals who had issues with the conduct, the size and scale of the consulate was what can actually be done about it. There was a huge sense of frustration, and frankly, I think that there is, it's a question of political will. And, Australia is still in this position where it wants to play nice with China. It would like things to get back to where they were before this trade war started. And as a result, I don't think that there's going to be any particular movement on the political front from the mainstream parties. It is interesting, though, that there's a couple of people who are trying to push for some sort of change, or at the very least clarity, around the operations of this consulate. I had a long chat yesterday to the independent Senator Rex Patrick, who provided me with a whole bunch of questions that he's put to the Foreign Minister, Marise Payne, and the answers that she has provided so far. Now, Senator Patrick said that when estimates hearings are on later this year for the Foreign Affairs portfolio, he intends to put a whole raft of new questions to Senator Payne. One of the questions that he asked, though, was, will the Minister require that the number of personnel at the Chinese Consulate General in Adelaide be reduced to a level comparable with other foreign consulates in SA? In reply, Senator Payne said DFAT continues to evaluate the nomination of diplomatic staff nominated by foreign governments across all diplomatic posts in Australia. There's another senator who's a member of the government, Liberal Senator Alex Antic. He also told me yesterday that he's going to write to Senator Payne saying, I have some questions about the size of the consulate, and I'll be writing to the Minister for Foreign Affairs in relation to these concerns, as well as the observations regarding behaviour that have been made. That's the behaviour of the consulate towards the neighbours. But, let's be realistic. Who knows what's going to come of that? But there are at least a couple of people who are raising what certainly most local residents overwhelmingly regard as valid questions about why we have this diplomatic behemoth right there smack bang in the middle of suburbia.
Feels like there are two issues, doesn't there? There's the international security and personal security. And whilst the questions around the size may be legitimate, I don't think you need to be a rocket scientist to work out. We don't need a consulate in amongst two people's houses in the middle of the suburbs. 13 minutes after 8, 8223 0000 is the number. You can text us on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line too, looking for people to be part of our favourite things quiz. Want to get a sense of what South Australians think about a couple of very simple questions, and if you play along, we'll send you off to the movies. All you need to do is be part of it, actually. Doesn't matter what you say from that point on. We'll send you on. 8223 0055 is the number. Let's check traffic, thanks to Dave Potter Honda, Australia's #1 selling Honda dealer. For a new car, make them your #1 choice.
Watch out for smashes Wavell on Greenhill Road, Goodwood Road, North East Road, Hampstead Road and Collinswood. Modbury, Smart Road, Seymour Avenue are smashed there, and delays not far from there on Milne Road at McIntyre Road for a burst water main. Is your vehicle handling the way it should? A Pedders brake, steering and suspension check for just $28 is the easiest way to make sure. Visit pedders.com.au today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowie Sports Show.
This is the moment for Travis Head. 200 for the first time.
Yeah, it was a proud moment. A very proud dad, Simon Head. Simon, welcome.
Hasn't got much to do with me at all, but you enjoy watching him achieve what he's achieving at the moment. I suppose making 200 now for the first time for the Redback.
Brilliant.
Just ticks off another little box, doesn't it?
4 p.m. weekdays.
Nothing better than speaking to a proud dad, is there?
Rowie Sports Show on 5AA.
Adelaide's newest Skoda showroom launches with its newest release. Visit the all-new Java Skoda West Terrace in the city for the Skoda Kamiq, a city-size SUV that's compact on the outside and curiously roomy on the inside. Kamiq features wireless phone charging, lane and blind spot assist and more, earning it the title of News Corp Car of the Year and a suitably compact price from $29,990. Visit Adelaide's newest Skoda showroom, Java Skoda, 193 West Terrace in the city. MVD 285011.
Summer's over, but with Mad March upon us, now's the perfect time to get into your local Vinnie shop and pick up a bargain. Now till Sunday, you'll save 30% off all clothing at all Vinnie's SA shops. Choose from a range of affordable pre-loved clothing, plus some top-name brands. And remember, shopping at Vinnie's is good for our environment, it's good for our community, and it's good for you. Find something unique at a Vinnie shop near you. vinnies.org.au/shops.
Adelaide property values are at an all-time high. They grew by 5.9% in 2020, which is staggering when you think than what all the other economic figures say about the year. But I guess people held on to the home. And that meant there was a huge uptick in buyer demand.
And if you want to get an unfair advantage, speak to SA's most experienced real estate teams, Toop and Toop. They've got market-leading sales tools and strategies like Toop Vault. It's an off-market selling network that lets you sell your property before public release, or alternately, snap up your dream home before anyone else can get a look in.
Right now, Toop Vault has around 17,000 members. That's sellers and buyers. And on average, at least one home is sold through the Toop Vault each week.
And it doesn't need to be a mansion to make the Vault. There's no property price range. Any property is eligible.
Buying or selling, register on the Toop Vault today. Call Toop and Toop 8362 8888 or go to toop.com.au.
Have you reached a crossroads in your life? Looking to make a change for the better? Secure your family's future and make a difference in your community whilst building a business in the thriving and dynamic home care industry with Right at Home. You'll enjoy the freedom to grow your own business with the full support of a top quality national home care brand. Make your dreams come true. Talk to Right at Home about a home care franchise. To find out more, visit rightathome.com.au and click on Business Opportunities.
9 News, weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. The switch is on to the news that's live and local. 9 News, made in Adelaide.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
17 minutes after 8. We've got a couple of spots in our survey still up for grabs, which means a couple of nights at the movies. So all you need to do is be part of it. We'll conduct it shortly. Valet to the plastic spoon and plastic fork and knife.
Valet or good riddance? No, you say valet to things you like dead loved ones.
No, I'm a big. I think the straws had a good place. I think the straws had a good run.
Yeah.
What are you, an anti-straw guy? What did the straw ever do to you?
Well, you don't want to know. It's, we tried to block it out.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, the good news is the state government's blocked out all single-use plastic, so it won't be a brutal memory any longer. In fact, it'll just be something in the dustbin of history. David Spears is the Environment Minister here in South Australia and joins us now. Minister, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So tell us what the go is, Minister. So nowhere in South Australia will you be able to buy any of these plastics anymore?
Well, there's a couple of exemptions in place for people with disabilities, but aside from that, straws, drink stirrers and plastic cutlery from today, the 1st of March, will become much harder to get your hands on and will be disappearing from the shelves of supermarkets and cafes and restaurants.
What about fast food outlets, like the big ones, like your KFCs, Maccas, etc.? I know some of them have already changed to those recyclable or rather compostable straws, but some of them are still using the plastic, aren't they?
Well, from today, they've all got to stop it. Some have already moved on. I noticed that Macca's has gone to the fairly hard cardboard straws, and so it's been a matter of transition over the last few weeks, or months in some cases. But from today, that's a hard deadline today. They must get rid of those plastics.
What if you run a cafe or a corner store and you've been a little bit lax in getting out the plastic? What happens to you if you sell them today? Do you get a fine?
Look, we're going to have more of an educational approach. The legislation includes fines, but we don't really want a big stick approach with this. So we'll be getting alongside those cafes and saying, look, it's time to do the right thing. We've found that the vast majority of organisations have moved already and are doing a pretty good job on this front. There's plenty of alternatives out there, and it's great to see South Australia lead the way.
Are there other forms of packaging that you'd like to get to, Minister? Because one thing I must admit just puzzles me is seeing, and you see it in every supermarket, 5 bananas in a plastic bag. And also there's so many in the confectionery space, particularly for these lollies that little kids love. I think they're called Haribos. They're like bear-shaped tubes, and you get a bag of them, and inside the bag, every single jelly bear is wrapped again. So every single lolly is wrapped in plastic. Can you sort of broaden it out to look at stupid things like that?
Yeah, we will be. So today's really the first tranche of a number of tranches in this ban, and we've outlined a few things we'll take away in a year from now, particularly takeaway containers, the polystyrene clamshells and things like that. Polystyrene is a particular problem because it's almost impossible to recycle, but the consumer is increasingly demanding this change anyway, and the market's providing plenty of alternatives. So we are seeing businesses make that transition without actually needing legislation, because consumers are saying, like you've just highlighted a few things, we don't want these anymore. It's just a waste of resource and bad for the environment. So I think you'll see a combination of government pushing with legislation, but businesses just driving the change themselves.
What's the toughest but potentially most beneficial change that you can see on the horizon? Not today, but in the future.
Look, one thing that's always raised with me is those little soy sauce fish containers, the ones that come with your sushi. I think that's maybe not necessarily the most beneficial, and it won't change the world. But that gets raised with me as a local MP and the Minister all the time. Got raised on the ABC this morning with me, so that's what the ABC listeners are thinking about.
Yeah, worry about where they've got the next sushi will come from.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So look, that won't change the world, but I think just broader packaging, the bigger packaging that's used for your big white goods and things like that, trying to find alternatives to the polystyrene in particular, because as I mentioned, polystyrene is a big environmental problem and very hard to recycle. So that's one we really need business to come up with alternatives for. And there are alternatives, but they're quite expensive at this stage. So we'll drive down the prices as we get more penetration of these alternatives.
Hey, before we let you go, Minister, can you give us an update on the hooded plover?
The hooded plover down at Seacliff, they were able to raise another chick this year. So,
excellent.
It's a survival of the fittest down there on Seacliff Beach, because they are very rare, but they struggle to raise chicks anywhere in the state, and I think this pair down at Seacliff are a bit of a miracle, because they managed to do it on one of the busiest beaches in the state. But yeah, good luck to the plovers down at the beach at Seacliff.
Yeah, no, they're plucky little birds. They tend to put their nests in bad spots, poor things. But, no telling them, I guess.
Great to have you on, Minister. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Minister.
Good speech this morning. Thank you.
Environment Minister David Spears.
ABC.
Well, won't somebody
campaign.
think of the soy sauce?
And, it's not just sushi, it's sashimi too. There's a campaign right there.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, it's going to take a lot of adjusting for people, isn't it? We've got a few texts coming through with legitimate concerns. Russell on the Telstra Stormount Barker text line says, has the Minister ever tried to feed a toddler with a paper straw? Life just got harder for mums and dads. Imagine.
Well, I don't think it's not the end of the world, is it?
Well, I'm the wrong guy to ask. Another person asked, coffee cups are plastic lined. Are they included? Well, there'll be a lot of questions like this. At this point in time, we're just talking about things like plastic cutlery and straws. And they're doing it step by step and slowly. So not at this point in time. And it's not a case of everything is plastic is bad right now. They're just baby steps. Lachlan in Morphettvale, big fan though, says, about time. Can't walk down the street without tripping over piles of plastic straws and coffee stirrers.
Is he being cynical? Is that a don't sweat the small stuff type text, do you think?
Could be. I mean, the coffee stirrer element of this, I can't remember the last time I saw a coffee stirrer.
Well, normally it's bits of wood.
Yeah.
Little wooden things.
Plastic coffee stirrer.
Chuck them anywhere, it doesn't really matter.
They only come on planes, don't they?
Yeah.
It's the only place I've ever seen a
With the
plastic
little
coffee
fluted end.
Yeah, that's
like a golf pencil.
They don't exist in other places. Maybe there is a suburb around Adelaide where they're just knee deep in coffee stirrers.
I reckon the worst thing too would probably be those plastic. Like, I think they're like 375, 450 mil plastic rectangular containers. Like if you go to like an Asian place and get some Hokkien mee or something, some sort of noodle or like a noodle salad or something, you get them and they're pretty. That's solid extruded plastic right there.
24 minutes after 8, our number 82230000, or you can leave your comments on the live streams, YouTube and Facebook. You like that? Big emphasis on the plural?
Plural.
Yeah.
Is it live streams or is it lives stream?
Live stream.
Like attorneys general.
It could be. I'm not sure. We'll have to go to Grammarist for the answer. 24 after 8.
For over 36 years, Steinborner has been well worth the trip. With over 400 used cars to choose from, you're sure to find the car you're looking for. Steinborner is your first choice for new Hyundai and Mitsubishi in the Barossa, and your first choice for Ford in Clare. And don't forget, you can always click through the collection of vehicles online at steinborner.com.au. Great local deals on great local cars from your locals. Steinborner Automotive. Still well worth the trip, or well worth the click.
At CMAX, we know your time is valuable, which is why we're happy to pay you for it. CMAX requires people aged 45 to 85, diagnosed with moderate to severe osteoarthritis, to participate in our study at CMAX in collaboration with University of Adelaide. If eligible, you'll be required to visit us 14 times over a 12-month period. On completion, you will be paid $2,670 for your time. Interested? Call CMAX on 1800 150 433.
WOM Adelaide is back from this Friday through to Monday. It's a revamped version just for this year with one stage and 4 sunset concerts in King Rodney Park. There's an incredible lineup across 4 nights. Midnight Oil, Archie Roach, Sarah Blasco, Tash Sultana, Vika and Linda?
Vicar and Linda.
Vicar and Linda?
Vicar and Linda Bull.
That's why you're the Mr.
The
Music.
former backup singers for the Black Sorrows, Jojo Zepp and the Falcon, Joe Camilleri.
Turn it off. That's why he's the music man. That's right. Thank you. Lior will also be there, Adelaide Symphony Orchestra and more.
WOMAD absolutely rules. I reckon it's the best festival event in Adelaide. I absolutely love it. And look, the other week, you remember we caught up with Rob Hurst, Midnight Oil's founding drummer, and he was extremely excited to be heading to WOMAD this year. And why not with that fabulous lineup? And the good thing is you can head along for one night, or you can get the 4-day pass and make a complete weekend of it.
Absolutely. It's hard not to love Adelaide's festival season, and WOM Adelaide really is the jewel in the crown.
Plus, the weather's looking great, and tickets are selling fast, so get your WOM Adelaide tickets now at womadelaide.com.au.
We hear you. You've lived enough to know you want more. More time, more freedom, more living. Introducing Encore Apartments from ECH, a new vertical retirement village at Modbury, opposite Tea Tree Plaza. 77 two-bedroom apartments, all with private balconies, plus on-site cafe, fitness centre and community garden. Book an appointment to see the new display suite at Parkside or visit echencore.com.au.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
27 after 8. Time for Fuel Watch thanks to Tave Potter Honda. I don't even know where to start with this. I might start here. If walking's an option for you, you might think about taking it up. $1.63 petrol at the moment. That's what I got it for yesterday.
Oh, no.
And I reckon I held out from $1.59 last week thinking, well,
it's got to go down.
It's going to go down from here. I was wrong. There are a couple of cheaper spots, though. I wish I'd had the Fuel Watch info handy at the time. $1.19 at the OTR on Regency Road in Dudley Park. $1.19 at the Caltex on O'Connell Street in North Adelaide. $1.19 at the United on the corner of Richmond Road and Grove Road, and $1.19 at the BP on Dawes Road in Clovelly Park. So a couple of cheap ones around the place.
We are getting a lot of messages about single-use plastics. Parkside Pirate, he says, get rid of damn plastic bags ASAP. Well, we haven't really got rid of them, but you've got to pay for them. It's probably discouraged the upkeep. I must admit, I know a lot of people with young kids often go the plastic bag because they're handy to have around the house for, putting away unpleasant things. And
they were always people's bin liners in a lot of instances.
Yeah.
That's what they became when they get home. And people for the smaller bins, not your big full kitchen bin, but your smaller bins around the house, you use them for.
I've done that.
Yeah.
Is that bad?
I don't think so.
Well, I don't know. The purists would say it is. It's not totally. Well, a lot of those plastic bags now, they're designed to break down fast.
Yeah.
Not like they used to.
What would the purists say? What do you mean to take it out to your compost heap?
Yeah. Well, maybe. Andrew says he was very impressed with the packaging of his Dyson fan. No polystyrene, all recyclable cardboard. There you go. And I'm not going to read that one out. It's a bit too weird. We'll just let that one go through to the keeper.
What about Maria saying another thing to carry? Thank God for ladies' handbags. Another thing to carry my own metal knife and fork from home. Well, I think there will be the cardboard versions or the recyclable versions will exist, Maria.
Yeah, there's those bamboo ones that are.
And I would just in these security conscious times, I wouldn't go carrying my own knife around in a handbag. You're going to end up in all sorts of strife.
I almost got arrested years ago when I was living in Sydney, flying back, and it was Mum's birthday, and I'd bought online. I'd bought this cheese board from the excellent kitchen store Peters of Kensington, and they'd gift wrapped it. And I got to the airport, put it through, and it was all gift wrapped with a ribbon on it and everything else. And the buzzer went off, and the guy said, "Mate, you got a knife here?" And I went, "No, I haven't." And he said, "Yes, you have." I said, "No, I haven't." I said, "It's a gift from my mum. It's a cheese board." And I didn't realise that embedded, like in the shoulder of the board, there was this tiny little, like literally 2-inch long, not even a blade. It was a pate knife.
Oh.
And this guy was carrying on like I was, like he'd caught Carlos the Jackal. It was like I was Abu Nadal. It was like, okay, come over here. We're going to ask you the question again. Have you got a knife? And I'm going, No, I haven't got a knife. I've got a present from my mother. And then they said, did you wrap it yourself? I said, well, no, I bought it from Peters of Kensington. And they said, right, well, we're going to look at it. And they just went, tore it open. And I was standing there, oh, for God's sake. And then they held the knife out like they'd caught me red-handed. And this guy's holding this knife. I was like, I feel like saying, mate, do you think I'm going to try to overpower the cabin crew by smearing them with Maggie Beer Pheasant Farm pate?
Is the pilot a pate?
Yeah, that's right.
Because it was the only way he was going to be in any danger.
I'm going to take down this jet with some brie.
That's exceptional. 5AA news time, behind closed doors, not too far away. The host of Channel 7 Sunrise, David Koch, and our quiz, where everyone who participates will get a Wallace Cinemas pass. Our state of South Australia. We've still got some space if you want to join in and have a bit of fun. Easy questions, 8223 0000.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy today, a top of 26 with the 8:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations, physioextra.com.
Police are looking for the driver of a car which crashed at Clemzig this morning. The driver then did a runner, leaving the female passenger with serious injuries. It happened on North East Road around 3:45. Senior Constable Kylie Simpson has a description of the wanted man.
Yeah, the driver of the car fled the scene. PD Zach and his handler, along with patrol, searched the area but couldn't locate the driver. So the driver's described as a Caucasian man, aged between 30 and 40 years. Got tattoos on one of his arms and was seen wearing dark T-shirts. So he was last seen on OG Road.
There's been another death on our roads. A man has died following a single-car rollover in the state's southeast. Police were called to Avenue Range near Lucendale just before midnight. The driver and sole occupant, a 58-year-old man from Kingston, passed away at the scene. The road toll for the year now stands at 17. Police are investigating possible links between the crash and a house fire on Potts Road. The house was extensively damaged, but no one was home at the time. In an Australian first, a ban on selected single-use plastics has started today in SA. The sale, supply and distribution of straws, beverage stirrers and cutlery has been outlawed. KSAB's Wendy Bevan says Stage 2 will be rolled out next year.
The next stage is in 12 months, and what the Minister has legislated is that the next lot of items will be the polystyrene type bowls and cups, so that's already written into the law.
Aged care Royal Commissioners are reportedly divided over the best way to reform the sector. Nine's Michael Packy has more.
The final report from the Aged Care Royal Commission is due to be released this week. It's understood it contains more than 100 recommendations, but according to The Australian, a split has emerged among two commissioners over the best way to reform the sector. Tony Pagoni believes an independent agency should oversee aged care in Australia rather than the Health Department, but this is at odds with his colleague Linnell Briggs. There's also division over how the sector should be funded. Some commissioners are calling for more federal money, others say there should be more user pay contributions.
We're heading into week 2 of the national COVID vaccine rollout. The rollout of the AstraZeneca vaccine in Australia is due to begin as early as next week if doses which arrived in the country yesterday clear necessary checks. Latest figures show a third of the UK's adult population has now been given the first dose of a COVID vaccine. And Prince Philip is nearing a fortnight in hospital. He's heading into night 13 at the London Medical Facility. It's the Duke's longest ever hospital stay as he's treated for an infection. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Fluorio milk comes from local cows and it's bottled right here. Look for the local Fluorio Milk Company.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. The Adelaide Crows women are working towards another tilt at a premiership following a comprehensive 53-point win against St Kilda. The Crows are now 4th. Meantime, the men's side have to decide whether to bring in number 2 pick Riley Thilthorpe for this weekend's trial match. He starred in the reserves match on the weekend with 4 goals. Wayne Miller is set to miss the season, though, after having surgery to repair a patella tendon injury. Meantime, the Powers' Todd Marshall should be available despite suffering a badly bruised cheek in Saturday's trial against the Crows. Australian tennis player Alexei Popyrin has broken through for his first title on the ATP Tour, taking out the Singapore Open. The 21-year-old came from a set down to beat Alexander Bublik in 3 sets. Popyrin says it's a feeling he'll likely never experience again.
All the hard work, all the sacrifices, all the dedication, like I said, that everybody around me made for me to get to this moment. And no, it's a little bit of relief, but like overjoyment, and it's just a whole lot of emotions mixed together.
To cricket and WA pair Liam O'Connor and Cameron Gannon have survived the last 23 balls to claim a draw in their Sheffield Shield match against South Australia at the Wacker. The two sides play a one-day match tomorrow. And in the English Premier League, wins for Liverpool, Arsenal and Tottenham, while Chelsea and Manchester United shared the points in a 0-0 draw. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Dave Potter, Australia's #1 selling Honda dealer. For a new car, make them your #1 choice.
A smash Wavell, Greenhill Road, Goodwood Road involving 3 cars. North East Road in Collinswood, Hampstead Road as an accident there as well past the ABC building for outbound. Delays for Milne Road approaching McIntyre Road, Modbury Heights for a burst water main. Other busy spots, Paynham Road through Marden down towards St Peters inbound. With Xero, it's easy to manage your bills. It's online accounting for small business, which means knowing what's owed is effortless. Try Xero for free. Search XERO. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Make sure you and your car stay cool with aircon and cooling services. Call 1300 Automasters.
26 for your Monday and partly cloudy. Mostly sunny tomorrow, 25. Wednesday, much the same, and 26. Right now, it's 18 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
23 minutes to 9. David Koch coming up very shortly. ING has released some research. They've done their own version of the census to fill in the gaps on the actual census and some areas that the census itself, at proper form, would never think to ask. Things like the Aussie anthem. And they've broken it down to what do South Australians think of these things. The Aussie anthem, Australian favourite slang, your entertainment favourites, your favourite coffee, all this kind of stuff. Here are the results. So the Aussie anthem, David, you'll be interested to learn. Men at Work's Down Under was number 1 with 36% of the vote. John Farnham's You're the Voice, 30%. Jimmy Barnes' Working Class Man was 25%. Slang, the most known, yeah, nah, 29%. Yeah, nah. Barbie, 16%. Whinge, I didn't know whinge was a slang. Whinge.
Whinge. It's an Australian word.
15%.
Whinge. Yeah, whinger.
I had no idea.
Don't be such a whinger.
South Australia's favourite slang terms. Our favourite movies in South Australia, Crocodile Dundee, Favourite movie, 22%. Kath and Kim, best TV show. Hugh Jackman, most relatable celebrity. Kathy Freeman, the favourite sports person. Go-to coffee was cappuccino, 28% of people. 2021 goals, I love this. Travel, 33%. Finance, 31%. Health and well-being, 26%. So coming out of a pandemic, we're more interested in getting back in the air than we are in getting healthy, which is just, I think it's just sensational. And this is my other favourite. Most desirable careers. Scientist, 22%. Astronaut, 14%. Actor, 13%. I'm sorry to everyone who participated in this. No one's seriously saying scientist over Hollywood actor.
That's cool that scientist is the highest.
I think that's people answering what they think.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time you got up...
Mine's landscape gardener.
It is. You often...
I'd love to do that
You
for a
often
living.
talk about that. Well, let's find out what our 5AA listeners think about some of these questions. Let's go through them. So we've got Scott, Rosie, Claire and Scott. So that won't be confusing at all. We'll start with Scott and Glenunga. Morning to you, Scott.
Good morning, David. Good morning, Will. How are you going?
Yeah, well, mate. Let's go favourite Aussie anthem.
That would have to be Men at Work, Land Down Under. When we won the America's Cup. I mean,
Yeah, thank you, Scott. Rosie's in Blackwood. What do you think the anthem is, Rosie?
Oh, well, I wanted to say about my dream job.
Well, why not?
Well, I want the job to be the first one to spot that panda moving at the zoo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I've never seen it move.
Or even just to see it.
We'll remember that when we get to your dream job. What about the anthem, Rosie?
I'm living in the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
Skyhawks.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I always used to think it was Never Ever 17.
Good one,
But,
Rosie.
yeah, that's a good one.
Lovely work. Let's go to Port Wakefield, all right. Claire, good morning. What do you think the Aussie anthem is?
At the moment, Talking Heads, we're on the road to nowhere.
Yeah, good one, Claire. Very good. I like what you did there. Let's go to Scott too. Scott in Seacliff. What do you think the Aussie anthem is?
I reckon Holy Grail, Hunters and Collectors.
Oh, yeah. Footy connotations. I
Or
like
say
it.
goodbye. That was all.
What about the Aussie slang term you use the most? Scott 1 in Glenunga?
I used to live at Seacliff, by the way, so that
Oh,
gets
my word.
confusing.
This is just getting worse by the second.
I'd probably go She'll Be Right or No Worries.
Okay, she'll be right or no worries. What do you think, Rosie?
Straight to the pool room.
Straight to the pool room. Nice turn of phrase. Claire in Port Wakefield.
It's a big donk.
Big donk.
A big donk.
Listen
Thank
to the
you.
donk.
Scott 2 in Seacliff.
How's it going?
How's it going?
How's it going?
Thank you. What about your favourite Aussie TV show, Scott and Glenunga, formerly of Seacliff?
I'll go Hard Quiz or The Voice.
Okay. Rosie in Blackwood.
Homes than mine.
Which one was that?
Better homes.
Better Homes, yeah. Good one. Claire?
Because we're all sacrificial at the moment, Lamb of God.
There's a real theme running through your answers this morning, Claire. It's quite dark, but you.
Claire's got Monday-itis.
Yeah, that's right. Scott, good morning.
Hey, boys. I'll just go Neighbours.
Neighbours. You just go Neighbours. Reluctant Neighbours fan is Scott.
No one went for the cook and the chef there, disappointingly.
Interesting. Okay. Your coffee order, Scott, in Glenunga?
Shot of espresso with some heavy cream.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Rosie, what's your coffee order?
Half a teaspoon of coffee.
Yeah. Restraint. They're very opposite ends of the spectrum, Scott and Rosie. Claire, what's yours?
Vienna coffee, because I'm German and we tried to take over the world twice in 100 years.
You know what? I was sure Claire was going to say black because of the pandemic, but somehow she made it even darker than that. Scott 2, what's your coffee order?
Just a cappuccino, boys.
Just a cappuccino, which was the number one in the survey. All right, what's everyone's goal for 2021? What's your goal, Scott?
Just lose a few pounds and get even healthier.
Yeah, good man.
Scott.
That's a good goal.
I hear you're looking pretty good anyway, mate.
Yeah, you sound wonderful. What's yours, Rosie?
To find my blue earring.
How long's the blue earring been missing for?
Oh, about 6 months. It's in the garden somewhere.
Okay, 2021 goals.
Yep.
Claire in Port Wakefield, what's your goal?
Don't say world domination, Claire.
Yeah, remove Scotty from marketing, from the leadership role. The guy is an absolute nonce.
Regime change. Thank you, Claire. Scott and Seacliff, your goal for 2021?
Yeah, to make the world less PC.
Okay. Scott and Claire, you should exchange numbers. I think you guys would have a really fun dinner together. Now, your dream job to round us out for the survey, Scott and Glenunga.
Have to be an NBA point guard.
Ah, yeah. I like it. Rosie in Blackwood.
Make my own earrings.
Certainly solve
or
your
just one.
previous issue. Claire, what would your dream job be?
cat whisperer. Because cats just don't give a shit.
Yeah, you're right. They don't. They really don't. And Scott in Seacliff, what's your dream job?
Has to be AFL footy player, I reckon.
Yeah, a couple of sportsmen. A couple of sports from the blokes. Thank you all for participating. You're all off to the movies on now.
You can go together too if you want.
Yeah, in fact, we didn't tell you that. You all have to go together. No, you don't. You've all got a Wallace cinema pass to go along and enjoy the movies on us. Appreciate you being part of our quiz. I'm not sure what we learnt from that. Perhaps simply that we've got a wide range of people that listen to us each and every morning.
It was so diverse.
It's a broad church, isn't it?
That was terrific. That was something for everybody.
It really was. I don't even know where we go from here. That was excellent. Thanks to everyone who played along. All right, let's check traffic and we'll just gather ourselves. Dave Potter Honda, Australia's #1 Honda dealer for a second year running. DavePotterHonda.com.au.
Burst Water Main, Milne Road, McIntyre Road, Modbury Heights causing delays. Marion Road, Cross Road busy. The North-South Motorway and Grand Junction Road, Hanson Road as well. Right now, get a Ranger XLS 4x4 Auto for just $48,490. Drive away. Recommended price. See Ford.com.au for T's and C's. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Hi, I'm Rose from Dentures Direct SA. At Dentures Direct SA, we'll spend the time with you to discuss any denture problem or concern. Whether you need your first set or you're not happy with your current dentures, our experienced Dentures Direct SA team are here to help. For an appointment at one of our clinics, or if you would like to organise an in-home appointment with Paul, call us on 1800 718 450. That's 1800 718 450.
Hello, Frank Walker from National Tiles. National Tiles have slashed the price on DIY Kimberley hybrid flooring to an unbelievable $29.95 every day of the year. That's right, DIY lay and click Kimberley hybrid flooring slashed to $29.95 every day of the year. Go online now at nationaltiles.com.au and save on Kimberley hybrid DIY lay and click flooring. It's child's play. National Tiles. Now you can.
Attention business owners and ABN holders. Wow, it's March already. If you want to take delivery of a new Toyota before June 30, you have got to get your order in now at Peter Kittle Toyota. Don't write it on a sticky note. Don't try to remember it. Just get it done. Place your end of financial year business car order before the end of March or you could miss out. Call or visit peterkittletoyota.com.au and place your order with our team of fleet specialists. Job done. Peter Kittle Toyota. Car buying made easy. MDL 284343.
You can't go past IGA for hundreds of weekly specials right across the store. Like Lynx antiperspirant or deodorant body spray 165ml selected varieties $3.50, half price. And Gatorade 1 litre varieties $2.50. Now at IGA. Offer ends March 2. Participating stores only.
9 News, weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. The switch is on to the news that's live and local. 9 News, made in Adelaide.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
14 minutes to 9. Former US President Donald Trump has just taken the stage at the CPAC American Conservative Union Conference in Orlando, Florida. He was due there over an hour and a half ago now, I think. He's just started to speak. We'll play a little bit of what he's got to say just before 9 o'clock. Not sure if we're going to learn anything about his political aspirations into the future, but as it breaks, you'll hear it here on 5AA Breakfast. The host of Channel 7's Sunrise program, David Kosh, joining us on this Monday morning. How are you, Koshy?
G'day, guys. Really good. Donald Trump's just come out and said he will not start a new party and he'll stay with the Republican Party. Can you imagine how Mitch McGovern is feeling at the moment?
Mitch McConnell.
Mitch McConnell, I mean. Oh, my God, he's going to stay.
They'll be thrilled with that.
I don't think, he was probably a bit old to run for President, Mitch McConnell, but if he was hoping to, it was not going to happen now.
Oh, no, just amazing. So by the sound of it, Trump is saying, I'm not going to start my own party. I'm going to stick with the Republicans because if he started his own party, it would have split the Republican vote. So he's smart enough to know not to do that. And, he's talking big. So
that's great.
He's not gone, that's for sure.
Well, the message then is, I am the Republican Party.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And all of the Republicans that turned on him after the result, I think they're going to be well and truly gone.
Yeah. Perhaps you mentioned Mitch McGovern, Koshy, because you got footy on your mind. Your boys started well on the weekend. I was there at Alberton and watched it all unfold. Did you like what you saw?
You were there at Alberton.
I was calling it, Koshy. I was working.
He was calling it, Koshy, as in his capacity as a Crows tragic. He was calling it on behalf of the Port Adelaide Football Club.
Yeah, I was.
You hired him to do it. You got to talk to your HR people, mate.
You got a real chink in the armour there.
Geez, if I'd known that, I would have had said no. But how good does Alberton look?
It does.
It was a great surface and great day out. I'm not sure you can learn much from a game like that, but it was good. It was good to get footy back, and of course we do it all again this weekend down at Noarlunga, which we talked about this time last week.
Do you think in your capacity as someone who is a football club president and someone who appreciates what makes good entertainment with your TV history, you might be able to speak to Gillon McLachlan about this silly standing the mark rule that everyone's complaining about at the moment? It's not seeming to serve either purpose, I would have thought.
No, it's hard to, particularly a couple of the crazier instances that were highlighted on the weekend. Not so much in our game on the weekend. I thought both teams did it pretty well, but there were, and in a couple of the games, reports I had was that there were no 50 metres from any infringements on it. So, I saw one, I think it was a Freo game where the player on the mark obviously was cramping a bit and lifting his feet and walked a step away from the mark and gave away a 50. Now that seems a bit silly to interpret the rule to that degree. It's got to be in the spirit of it. But, apparently a number of the games, it wasn't too bad at all.
Koshy, looking at Canberra at the moment, you've got rape allegations on both sides of politics. We broke the story here on Saturday that Nicole Flint, the soon-to-be former member for Boothby, as a young woman, had just had a total gutful of the joint and is going to chuck it in. She wants to get out of the whole toxic environment. How do you think Parliament fixes what seems to be a genuine crisis?
One thing I am absolutely sure of, Parliament cannot be trusted to fix it. They cannot have internal inquiries. They cannot have ex-politicians sitting in judgment or current politicians or parliamentary committees. It has got to be an absolute complete outsider and a group of outsiders representing us as the taxpayers, the voters. It is our parliament. The politicians work for us. We pay them. The public servants work for us. We pay them. And a representative of us, not them, should be going in to sort it out. And I've never been stronger in opinion on that, forget all the political rhetoric saying, we'll fix it, we'll set up a review. No, it's got to be an outside review of representatives, distinguished people representing us, the ultimate owners of Parliament House, because it's a disgrace and they've let us down.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Not this current batch of politicians, but previous batches. It sounds as though it's been going on for years.
Yeah, and I think that you made the point the other day too that the problem is that when these things happen in other workplaces, they're addressed as an issue that needs to be sort of rooted out for the good of the company's reputation and for the well-being of all the staff, particularly anyone who's been victimised. But in Canberra, it all sort of gets muddied because it becomes a question of how's this going to play politically.
Yep, exactly. And our workplaces are governed by very strict rules and laws which are set by the Parliament, who doesn't even abide by it themselves. So I think there's just got to be a line drawn in the sand. You've worked there. Your partners worked in it. It's a crazy situation now. It isn't. It shouldn't just be a review of what happened. It should be a review of the culture behind what happens. Should they be flying in for weeks at a time and sort of not going home and being away from their families or a normal life? I don't know. Let's think outside the square on the seat of government and how it operates.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, all these late night sittings, and you throw, for a lot of the staff, and it's a very male-dominated workplace in terms of the staff. The staffing is where a lot of the really bad stuff happens, and you throw alcohol into the mix, and egos and all of that,
and power.
Yeah, totally.
Yep.
Recipe for disaster.
Start from the culture.
Yeah. Good on you, mate. David Koch from
next week.
Sunrise on Channel 7. Always great to catch up, mate. Thank you.
Fantastic. Koch, you too, with the breaking news there. Donald Trump speaking at the Conservative Conference in Orlando, Florida. Here's a little bit of what he had to say.
We went through a journey like nobody else. There's never been a journey like it. There's never been a journey so successful. We began it together 4 years ago, and it is far from being over.
He's Trump the return.
I'll be
the
back.
odds are shortening, aren't they?
Yeah, well, that can happen in 4 years. 3.5 years.
Can happen in 4 years.
Overwhelmingly, he's still supported by the Republican Party and the rank and file.
Either he'll be. Look, there's two realities. Either he'll be the next nomination, or he'll decide the next nomination.
The great thing for the Democrats is he's got overwhelming support, which means 30% of Republicans don't support him. So he's got huge numbers of supporters, but there's enough there. A third of the Republicans who accepted the election result changed their mind about Trump, particularly after the Capitol attack. So now you've got this ideal position for the incumbents now, where Trump's got this loyal, blindly passionate mass base that is still not big enough to counter the Democrats.
But if you have 70% of the Republican voters at a nomination, you will decide who will be their nominee.
But then what happens on polling day?
Well,
with all the soft Republicans, all the more progressive Republicans.
But I don't think that's decided that way anymore.
No. Why? No, of course it's not.
Yeah. 5 to 9, it's time to go behind closed doors.
And when we get behind closed...
$13.95. Adelaide's FIVEaa. This is the Saturday Sports Show. KG and Cornsey.
Hi folks, welcome to the Saturday Sports Show, and we're broadcasting live from Alberton Oval, and we're watching the reserves game between Crows and Port that no one cares about. And joining me, as usual, the totally amazeballs, KG...
No, don't start all that stuff, Studley. Get on with it, Stud.
KG Cunningham, as my voice begins to go.
Yes, there it goes, Studley.
Yes, we'll struggle on through, but we'll make sure we don't tell you exactly why my voice is going.
No, we'll leave everybody in the dark there, Stud.
That's right.
Whoa!
That was a good one.
Yes, it was, Stud.
You can call us, folks, on 8223...
Are we not going to explain what we just saw, Studley?
Oh, well, it was a great mark by Riley Philthorpe.
Yes, that's right. It was a beauty.
I think we should really ignore the game and do the show.
Yes, that's right, but we won't be able to, Stud.
No.
Love an outside broadcast, Studley.
What, even here at Alberton?
Even here, Studley, but it's okay because it's a lockout and no one's allowed in, so I should be okay.
Yes, if you don't know what we're referring to, folks, it was 1990 when Port Adelaide decided to go it alone and try to join the AFL, and you were broadcasting down here.
Yes, I was calling a game between Port Adelaide and Westies.
And you had been vehemently against Port joining the AFL because it would have decimated the SANFL.
Yes, that's right.
And Port Adelaide supporters hated you for it.
Yes, they did, and I was lucky to get out of this ground in one piece, Studley.
Yes, you were jostled and buffeted and...
Yes, it wasn't good, but luckily I had a security person with me to get me out okay.
And you haven't been back here since?
No, haven't been back. This is the first time.
And people still to this day talk about that incident.
They do, yes.
And they think it's funny because, let's face it, there's nothing more screamingly funny than KG Cunningham being beaten up by a bunch of degenerate drunken thugs.
That's right, Sully. Very funny indeed.
And of course, these days, if it happened, those people would probably be banned for life for physically threatening somebody.
That's right, Sully.
But nothing was done.
No.
Very funny stuff.
Yes, pure comedy gold, Stud.
Yes, that's right, as my voice begins to go again.
It's going again, Studley.
But we still won't tell you why.
No, we're keeping that a secret.
2 minutes to 9.
Been missing live events? Adelaide Fringe is back for 2021. There's over 800 events to choose from in over 275 venues. So what will you see this year? With so much choice, there's never been a better time to fringe your way. But make sure you book early because capacities are limited. Adelaide Fringe, from Feb 19 to March 21. To book your tickets, head to adelaidefringe.com.au. Thanks to Principal Partner, Bank SA.
The Ford plate clearance won't last, so hurry for a great deal on one of Ford's brilliant new SUVs, like the incredibly economical Puma or the surprisingly powerful Escape. Get yours before they're all gone. See Ford.com.au for details.
Everywhere you look, there's a sign popping up saying, sold by McGain again.
That's right, Will, and as you would have heard, there's still buyers everywhere at the moment. You can expect plenty of offers on your home without having to spend a single cent on advertising.
I like the sound of that. McGain have families lined up waiting for new homes to be listed for sale right now. So if you're looking to sell, contact the brilliant team at McGain and ask them about their McGain match strategy. They could already have the perfect buyer for your property.
Now, with the largest amount of buyer activity in the past 20 years, it's the perfect time to act, and just another reason why everywhere you look, there's a sign popping up saying, you got it, sold by McGain
again.
Thanks to Light and Easy, Australians of all ages can enjoy their choice of delicious, nutritious meals in the comfort of their own home. Especially those of us getting a little older, as we need to keep eating well to age well. If you or someone close to you could benefit by having Light and Easy's delicious, healthy meals delivered to their door, visit lightandeasy.com.au or call us on 13 15 12.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Right on 9 o'clock. That's all from us on this Monday, the 1st of March. We'll be back tomorrow morning from 6. Stick around, Leon Biner coming up in just a moment.